One might argue that as a live streamer who focuses specifically on discussion-focused content, that I should have some kind of catchy introduction that I always do, but I'm not at all good at anything like that, so you get what you pay for, which is nothing, because I'm broke. Pay me. Hello, how's it going, folks? We got our hydrate in. I get you started on the Rule 34 of Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing. I mean, Rule 34 aside, the pairing of the Doom Slayer and... There you go, Del. And Isabelle from Animal Crossing is absolutely one of the most legendary things to have come out of gaming. Yes, it's true, we didn't actually get an official pairing. We didn't get an official, you know, the two of them together in some kind of scenario. Like, it could still happen, don't get me wrong. Smash Bros. Does have the potential to add the Doom Slayer to it. Is Isabelle in Smash Bros? I don't think so. But they have the opportunity there to add the two of them. Alright, Fox is going in on it. Doom v Animal Crossing. Here we go. Welcome in, Haley. How's it going, folks? How's it going? How's it hanging? Well, specifically not get you started on Rule 34 and AC stuff that sounds fucking nasty. It does. I'll get my posture check in and the flannel. Let's talk about the flannel. Should we talk about this dress? Should we talk about this dress, what I got in the mail today? Look at this. Look at it. Got skirty bit. Like, this is amazing. This dress is my life now. I'm never going to get out of this dress. I'm going to live in it until I die. I presume to be buried in this dress. I have a few upcoming weddings I have to go to. I'll be wearing this dress. I won't clean it. I'll just keep wearing it the entire time. I'm so firmly in distress. I did not do Dress Go Spinny, dang it. We can do Dress Go Spinny, I guess. Doom is, like, leading like crazy, by the way. Animal Crossing has no votes. Alright, we'll do Dress Go Spinny. I need more flannel. As a raging lesbian, I need more flannel. So, you know, I need to sort that out. Alright, I don't know how you do this. I have not done this properly before. Like, you expect me to just spin? Like, hey, spin. Does that work? What's wrong with me? Oh, there we go. What do you reckon? Was that okay? Was that clip worthy? Was that worthy of a clip? I think by phrasing it versus, I mean that's how Fox suggested the poll, so Doom obviously won on that one. That works, there we go. You rescue flannels off eBay. Most of them are too small for you. Well, that's not good. Can you modify them at least? That's a cloth from Spotlight. Wait, which one's a cloth from Spotlight? No, I didn't make this. I got this from Dangerfield, a website which I am actually I've spoken out before. Okay, let's clarify something. I'm just gonna make sure this doesn't have like my location details on it or anything. There's this Melbourne-based retailer called Dangerfield, and they got a bunch of fucking cool stuff on it, right? I've got a few dresses, a few pieces of clothing from here now, and that's where I got this dress from. And there is an affiliate program available on a certain website, but it's not on their website. It does link to their website, but I'm kind of like... I emailed the company and I just said, look, I found this affiliate ship, and I've spoken out against affiliate ships in the past. But, you know, I've honestly considered, given that I like their stuff that much, I may actually plug a little bit if I can collab with Dangerfield, you know, in that sense. Snaily Field, how we doing charging magic missiles? I'm doing okay. How are you doing? How's it going? Just go whoosh. It's your first ever clip. Let's check. Hey, Dances with Wolverines. My alerts aren't turned on. Fucking hell, I'm an idiot. Thank you for that. Thank you for the 100 bits. Let me just... How do I replay alerts? What I'm saying is I have no morals. Yeah, I'll speak out against something and then I'll turn around and do it anyway. You got a few meters of this in the garage. That's awesome. You should try to replicate this. What was I gonna do? What was I gonna do? Streamlabs. I want to go to Streamlabs and see if it'll let me replay the last alert. Or do I do this? No, that doesn't work. Okay. Alert box? Have I seen this crazy town stuff? We'll take a look in a sec. Hold up. Let me see. I'm sure... Was it recent events? You can go to recent events on Streamlabs. And...
Another round.
There we go.
On you.
Alert triggered. Perfect. Partner's gonna make PJs out of it, but she got confuzzled looking at the patterns. Understandable. Sexy is right. You're damn right. What's this? Glenn Beck losing it about Dr. Seuss. Wait. Glenn Beck is still alive?
Welcome to the Rogue
For some
Room.
reason I thought he was dead. Alexia, not Alexa. Welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us. What's a meter? Like 1/10 of an American football field? Robs. Twitch keeps going into buffering. I'll have to check out the streams in the future when the internet is not broken. Radio, Alexia. Thank you so kindly for joining us. Hopefully next time you can hang out a little bit longer. Anyway, get it up. There you go. Yeah, we'll take a look at this in a moment. We'll take a look at this. A meter is a wee bit over 3 feet. Yeah, a little bit longer than 3 feet. But yeah, at any rate, actually I was considering, you know, it was nice to walk into getting flipped off. Emperor Garfield, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, chill out with us. I did hit the gym today. I actually got my cardio in. Remarkable. I think I actually did my cardio at the end. Because the thing is, I really like doing the bike. I refuse to do anything but the bike. The bike is easy. Right? So I do the bike, but they've only got, of the 6 available bikes in the cardio area of my gym, only 3 of them, that's not 3, that's 3, only 3 of them are currently accessible. Because they've got like one bike and then one bike in between that's like sectioned off. This one's out of order. And then another bike, social distancing, you know? And as a result, there's only 3 bikes available. And if you don't get there early enough, you lose your spot. So I go do weights and then I come and do cardio at the end if I have to. It annoys me because I really like getting my cardio in first, getting my body warmed up before I do any weight stuff. You know, I like getting my body nice and limber, flexible. At any rate, I got my workout done and it was good. Why don't they just move them further apart? There's probably not enough room, honestly. Not enough room in the gym to move them apart. But I'm thinking I'm going to start swapping out my upper body days for a full hour of cardio day. So I will do the bike, I will do the treadmill, I'll do the stepper, I think, is what I'm thinking of, for 20 minutes apiece. Or maybe like do some stretching, yoga-y stuff in there, I don't know. But I kind of want to drop my upper body routine altogether. I am not... This is weird, because I've always been proud of my, my upper body musculature, and now I'm kind of like... Not the most effeminate look. I'm honestly considering just losing muscle intentionally. Thank you for nerf nuking me, Detroit, by the way. Appreciate it. What is up, you natty bitch? Going on, Jacinta. How's it hanging? I'm not natty. I am on so many anti-steroids. Like, I'm on the opposite of steroids. Think about this, right? Trans men... That is, assigned female at birth individuals, who are men, go on testosterone. Go on actual testosterone HRT. There's a reason a lot of the trans men you tend to see are pretty buff, I've noticed, because they're geared to the gills. They're on steroids. Hatha yoga is good to keep strength and looking slim. Forced natty. Snesterone. Snestosterone, sorry. Hate cute tops that your arms will not fit into. You don't even have big arms. I've got that feeling. I showed last night. I've got a dress that's actually the sleeves are probably supposed to be just like a little bit shorter than this, but my forearms are too big and the button like this won't do up if I were to have the sleeve done up. It doesn't work. You've gained muscle but literally zero strength on T. Then again, you're physically disabled, so... Well, I mean... There you go. You've seen some trans men and woo. That's the thing, honestly, about the trans men I have seen. Feel free to supply me with a trans man that proves me wrong, but of the trans men I have seen... I mean, I'd consider going a little bit straight. They get the best... They get the best of the HRT scenario. If trans men go on HRT, which again is entirely at the discretion of the trans individual, we don't have to medically transition to be trans. Right? You're amazing. I'm glad to hear you're amazing. Like you don't have to medically transition, but where was I going with this? Oh yeah, trans men that do go on HRT, the effects are very, very significantly obvious compared to some trans women I've seen. I mean, I'm very early on, so the HRT hasn't had huge effects on me yet. Which I don't expect it to do anything massive, especially given that I've started at 31, sorry. Maybe just dress as Wonder Woman all the time. I could do that. I could go the whole, like, oh yeah, I'm a lifting chick and just buy, like, a whole bunch of form-fitting women's fitness gear. And just get around. It's like, oh yeah, I lift. I deadlift. Do you even deadlift? Yes, I'm 31. I have nice soft features, thank you. Yeah, I've been told, honestly, like a lot of my life I've been told I look younger. Quite significantly younger than I actually am. I told the story a short while back about how I was working at pushing trolleys, and I was teaching another dude about our route or whatever, and the guy asked me, I was 27 at the time, the guy asks me, so what year are you in? Referring to high school. He was referring to what year in high school was I in. Check out Michelle McDaniel on YouTube. She's a personal trainer and pretty proud of being a buff cis woman. There's quite a few really good buff cis women that I'm fans of. I'm a fan of, sorry. Yeah, she's pretty jacked. I can dig it. So what did I miss about the low testosterone? You have had naturally low T since you were a third child and smoked weed since you were 13. Does weed affect testosterone? Yeah, it should just be me, honestly. I shouldn't focus too heavily on body image. I have a lot of issues with body image, honestly. Hello, Kez, by the way. I see you there. Started at 39. I mean, yeah, I suppose it's never too late. I've seen, you know, elderly trans people coming out, you know, 82-year-old trans woman sort of thing. Like, it's never too late. Also, may we admire what I did with my eyeshadow tonight. Take a look at this. I don't know if I can show you properly, because I can't see what I'm doing. But I've accentuated the wing with some, like, reddish purple. And there is a line of deeper purple across the top of my eyeliner. It's very, very gay. Weed can affect it, depends on how it's grown. See a wing. It's a wing. A friend gave me the idea to do like a winged eyeshadow, so that it's sort of... Not that. This. It'll sort of flow. It's supposed to flow off the winged eyeliner. It kind of does. I should have put some underneath as well, but I didn't. Okay, it puts the plus, LGBTQIA plus. The plus stands for extra, because I'm completely and totally extra. Weed generates estrogen? Not lots of science, but yeah. Let me look at this up, hang on. I'm curious. That's interesting, really? The effects of cannabis on your hormones. ZRT lab. Actually, we got a PubMed scientific journal here. Is this a scientific journal? Yeah, abstract. Let's have a look at this. Hot tits is a thing. That's crazy, honestly. Actually, I shouldn't say crazy because we're gonna talk autism a bit tonight, and we should discuss the fact that terms like crazy, insane, other things like that are kind of insensitive, kind of ableist. We should get into that discussion. Anyway, crude marijuana extract competed with estradiol for binding to the estrogen receptor of rat uterine cytosol. Condensed marijuana smoke also competed with estradiol for its receptor. Pure delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, however, did not interact with the estrogen receptor. 10-delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol metabolites also failed to compete with estradiol for its receptor. Of several other common cannabinoids tested, only cannabidiol showed any estrogen receptor binding. This was evident only at very high concentrations of cannabidiol. Apigenin, the glycone of flavonoid phytoestrogen found in cannabis, displayed high affinity for the estrogen receptor. To assess the biological significance of these receptor data, estrogen activity was measured in vivo with the uterine growth bioassay using immature rats. Cannabis extract in large doses exhibited neither estrogenic nor anti-estrogenic effects. Thus, although estrogen receptor binding activity was observed in crude marijuana extract, marijuana smoke condensate, and several known components of cannabis direct estrogenic activity of cannabis extract could not be demonstrated in vivo. That's something. Hey, Em again. Welcome to the Rogue Room, Kassesk. Go down and grab a drink till that was. How's it going? Let's have a look at this. ZRT Lab. Let's see what this says. Maybe we can put this into layman's terms. Gimme pot boobs, I suppose. Did I get on the weed? I don't want to try any, like, serious drugs or anything like that. Honestly, like, getting super drunk the other night left me with this sensation that, like, I need to wait a little bit before I take my estrogen, which I did. I waited till about midday or something before I actually took my estrogen, let the alcohol sort of wean off my system. Blame Calgar. We're talking about weed tits at the moment, at pot tits at the moment. But I do want to talk some trans stuff, some queer stuff, some autistic stuff. Trans and love and drugs and stuff, and fuck, there you go. Hydration and rudeness. And my dress. We're talking about my dress. Get a look at this. Genuinely, if Dangerfield gets back to me and is just like, oh yeah, the affiliate thing is legit, we'll do it. We'll give you a code, and if you get people to buy stuff with your code, you'll get money. And I'm like, because I like Dangerfield, I like their stuff, and I want more people to buy it and wear it, I am totally going to do that if that comes up. Looking very cute, thank you kindly. Ganja goobs. Alright, let's have a look at this. The Effects of Cannabis on Your Hormones by Dr. Zane Hawke, Thursday, June 20, 2019. While cannabis is being legalized in more and more states, both the adverse and beneficial effects of its use are starting to be better understood. The active compound in cannabis, THC, tetrahydrocannabinol, is widely known to have effects on the brain, producing the high that many users are seeking. However, the other more adverse effects cannabis can have on the body are less widely known. In this blog, I want to focus mainly on how cannabis can affect your hormones, primarily through the pituitary, thyroid, and adrenal glands, and the reproductive system. I want to see specifically about estrogen. There's only 5. That's not it. Okay, it doesn't really specify in the article itself. Let me scroll through this really quickly. You like my lipstick? It's just a really natural looking lip gloss, honestly. You're looking at buying a bag, unicorn. What kind of bag are you looking at? But thank you, I do like this lip gloss. I use this all the time. I'm surprised I haven't run out of it. Sounds like anti-weed PO. What do you mean? Propaganda. Oh. I mean, I don't know. You can... Here's the article I found, by the way. The endocannabinoid system and how it works. Not really what I was looking for. I wanted to know about weed tits. I want to know about weed tits. Here's an article from September 2019. Can smoking weed give you man boobs? As a man, having gynecomastia or excess breast tissue can be embarrassing. It can occur even in otherwise fit muscular men. Actually, side note. I'm looking at some hairy man boobs right now. I'd rather not. I'm just going to scroll away from that. Gyno can actually happen in bodybuilders quite routinely. Because I think because they're taking steroids, which are built off testosterone. If I'm not mistaken, the science here is that once they've increased their test levels so much, their estrogen levels also bump up to sort of compensate. And as a result, there's a lot of bodybuilders that end up with gynecomastia. They end up with man tits. Which I don't know exactly what they do there.
Appreciates your recommendation.
Ms. Rebella, thank you for the host. Thank you for the host. If I'm not mistaken, that's what happens. I may be incorrect there. I might actually, let's have a look. I don't want pictures of it. Gyno, T-Nation. This is this website here. Here, this is a man without his shirt on. It's okay, we can show that on Twitch. Is nature's equivalent of using a Sharpie to deface a pretty painting, gynecomastia, or as it's more informally known, gyno. Not only do these man boobs mar what might otherwise be an impressive male physique, they also cause damage to a man's confidence and self-esteem. T-Nation, if I'm not mistaken, is a specifically steroid-positive bodybuilding website, if I recall correctly. Like, you'll routinely openly find articles about steroid usage. Never took steroids, you just smoke weed all day, every day. We've gone from marijuana to steroids and gynecomastia. Like, what is this conversation? Here we go. German soldiers develop enlarged breasts. That's interesting. We'll give that a look. You just got boobs and they're annoying as fuck. I can imagine. Already got man boobs. Hopefully soon the man boobs will merge with girl tit and you'll have boobs. Again, like, I've been working chest for a while. You know, I've been training chest muscles for a while. I'm wearing a padded bra at the moment, so if I stand up, it looks like I've got tits. But I've mentioned this before, and I'm happy to talk about this, I suppose, because I am on estrogen. And I'm honestly not certain if what I have in my chest is pecs or if it's the beginnings of breasts. And the reason I find it tricky to decide which is which is because I've been working out chest for so long. Like, I used to bench 90 kilos. I can't do that now. But I've still been staying on top of my bodybuilding to a point. And I'm kind of like, which is it? Is it one? Is it the other? I don't know. All I know is that when I take my shirt off and I pose, like, I took some photos of myself in the mirror shirtless, and I was like, not 100% happy with the way I look. But we are our own worst critics. Look at this. This is on Berserk. Unicorn. Oh my god. Oh my god. I need it. I'm gonna save that. I am gonna click on the Berserk link. I'm gonna save that. That's what that is. Pusheen cat on this website. Berserk. But it doesn't have the R between the E and the S. Look at it. That's the thing, Kez. I have had some nipple pain, so I'm sort of thinking maybe we're in the right vein here. Emmy, honestly, same. Like, Berserk has, like, I'm gonna just be a total shill for a moment. Just their dresses alone. Kiss better. Kiss my nipples better. Just their dresses alone. Like, the pure goth aesthetic. Oh, actually, maybe I shouldn't keep scrolling down, because there are some things on here that are very, like, even just this is a bit saucy. But there are legitimately things on there. There's just, like, a sheer gown of some sort, and the woman's not censored at all. There's full-blown... Oh, no, actually she is. There we go. I scrolled down, and there it is. And you can't see her nipples, but I definitely cannot show that on stream. At any rate, Berserker's got some fucking badass goth outfits, and I'm just like, oh my god. If I had the money, I would be losing a lot of money on that website. Soldier titties. Alright, let's talk about soldier titties. We're just jumping around titties here. So far we've discussed the fact that marijuana can give you titties. Supposedly. Steroids can give you titties. Obviously HRT can. And now, rifle-wielding soldiers develop breasts. Research on German soldiers German soldiers has shown that enlarged breasts are an unfortunate side effect of gun-toting. The rhythmic impact of a rifle wielded by a military man can puff up his chest. This sometimes leads to worry or worse, though soldiers might appreciate a good pair of breasts. What would happen if they grew themselves a pair or if they grew just one? Some men do experience this affront. A study called Gynecomastia in German Soldiers, Etiology and Pathology, published last year in the journal GMS Interdisciplinary Plastic and Reconstructive Surgery, analyzed the plight of 211 male German soldiers who suffered from or at least exhibited one or two enlarged breasts. The ailment has a medical name, gynecomastia. Just the one titty. You just get one titty. I'd like to order exactly one breast. The study's authors, Professor Björn de Kerpol, Dr. Dietrich Doll, and 4 colleagues at, but I can't pronounce that, the German Armed Forces Hospital in Berlin, played detective. They set out to investigate the increased incidence of left-side gynecomastia in members of the German Ministry of Defense Guard Battalion who perform ceremonial duties in Berlin. A possible explanation is the mechanical impact of a carbine against the left side of the body during the drills that these soldiers regularly perform as part of their ceremonial duties. Sergeant, can I have one titty? Like a half and half pizza. The doctors compared those patients with other enlarged breasted men who had not spent years frequently and intensively slapping rifles onto their left breast. There's something just absurd about this whole concept. Honestly, that's why I'm laughing. Just the absurdity of this. It kind of reminds me of like truckers. There's a few images out there of men who are like old and they've been trucking their entire life. They've been driving trucks on the highways from point A to point B, 12-hour shifts or whatever. And because like one side of their face is constantly in the sun, that half of their face is much more wrinkly and aged than the other side is. It's kind of crazy to see. This is the tragic effects of concussion syndrome and steroid abuse. The shocking news that Chris Benoit's testicles stopped producing testosterone in 1995, which had him having to take testosterone hormone replacement therapy as well as illegal anabolic steroids. I am not shocked by this. Does anyone know the story of Chris Benoit? This is a bit of an older story now, back in 2007. Does anyone remember the story? Fucking shut up, cunt. Jesus. Is someone driving a motorcycle down the street or something? I don't know if you heard that. I heard that. Yeah, I was sort of reasonably into wrestling at the time this happened. Not super into wrestling, but I was like, I would watch the occasional pay-per-view or I would play the video games quite a bit. Howdy, Nondescript, how's it going? I think everyone remembers Chris Benoit. It's a really tragic story, honestly. That is an interesting way to relate dysphoria to a cis person, honestly, yes. Gynecomastia, at least to men. Gynecomastia would help elucidate the point. You say to a man, honestly, you could say that to any dude. It's like, how would you feel if you developed gyno, which is man breasts? And they would freak out. A lot of the men that I have spoken to would most certainly freak out at the concept of gynecomastia. And then you could just go, that's what dysphoria is like. When your body's doing things you don't like it to do. Leading cause of men seeking plastic surgery is hard to feel manly. It's not the worst thing ever, but it causes psychological trauma. There you go, exactly. Yeah, I think everyone remembers Chris Benoit. Barely see the light of day, but in the summer you managed to get truck driver arms somehow. My cousin used to wear, when he used to do like package deliveries, he used to wear a hoodie, even in the summer, and he would just have the hoodie sleeve on one arm, and the rest of it was just like, he wouldn't wear it. He'd just have the sleeve on. Connor, how's it going? The thing about Bob is that Bob had bitch tits. Wasn't that part of his storyline? Isn't that, let's not go into any further detail. Spoilers and such. I already spoiled something the other night. I shouldn't have. But it has inspired me to pick up the game Among the Sleep. I think what we might do on Wednesdays, we might continue Bioshock on Wednesdays. And then once we finish Bioshock, we'll move on to, I want to play Among the Sleep, I think. That's a cool horror game. But anyway, would you call Bioshock a horror game on that note? Enhanced edition. There's an enhanced edition. Anyway, let's stop getting distracted. Hey, Rena, how's it hanging? Reading a comic about socialism called Red Roses sounds cool. Sounds cool. Gonna cut me open and drain my pecs again. Oh, excuse me. Fight Club is kind of old if folks haven't seen it. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. Spoilers, Snape kills Gandalf. Yeah, I would say like at least thematically, BioShock definitely classes as horror. I'm gonna say this with non-Australians in mind, but every year you usually get the flip-flop lines on your feet. The thong lines. Speaking of thongs, looking at making an OnlyFans again. Still don't know though. Well, I mean, that's entirely up to you, of course. What are you most comfortable with, sort of thing? You know, it is a very difficult decision to make. It would be. You don't have gyno, you just had a lot of chest fat, but it's become really stretched out across your pectoral muscle tissue, so you can't imagine how it would feel for the guys that can't correct by enlarging muscle tissue. Yeah, no, there's a certain oppressive feeling about BioShock, the first BioShock, being in a city that's underwater. I mean, don't get me wrong, BioShock Infinite has the similar feeling of that isolation where you're in this city floating in the sky, and there's a specific sensation of this city is ruled by elites that are very, very oppressive in their own ways. But again, like we mentioned last night, BioShock seems like it had something to say, and BioShock Infinite didn't have anything to say. Like, politically speaking, philosophically speaking, BioShock 1 was very, very critical of the idea of objectivism, from what I've been able to see. And BioShock Infinite presented a whole bunch of ideas and never closed the door on any of them, ironically, considering the door theme. But yeah, BioShock Infinite had a good aesthetic. It did. It had a very nice visual style to it. But its narrative themes were just dog shit, honestly. Just got mad at your brother for being really loud because I'd had a sleeping. Don't want to wake him up. He works in powder coating and leaves at 3-4 a.m. for work. Oh my goodness. Yeah, make sure he gets his sleep. Despite the fact that it's a fun game, it's definitely not horror. No way. Yeah. A lot of men who've had the removal of one or both testicles due to cancer have testosterone replacement therapy, with actually a lot of research in testicular replacement with stem cell and glandular replacement. Here's a question I want to throw to you. Looking forward to transhuman genital trading. Here's a question for you. There we go. Just gonna throw you a really personal question. Which bottom surgery should I get? Full GRS or just an orchi, which is just get rid of the balls? You have great boobs. If you don't want to show your face and like that's an option. That is, I mean, honestly, I mean, if I throw, I don't want to touch too deeply on it because I worry about like talking about OF related stuff, adult work related stuff. I worry that if we push too heavily on that discussion, we might upset Twitch. But I will say there is definitely a certain, I think if you dress it up a certain way, if you do your work in such a way that the anonymity is very much a part of the persona you put forward with the OnlyFans content. I think there's definitely a market there. I think there's definitely a lot of potential there, and like, you're not allowed to know what I look like, but you can know what I look like everywhere else. You can see the new dress, yes. I have heard some dilator stories, and yeah, it's kind of anyway, this is the new dress. You like it? Like it? I like it. Look at it. It's great. And also, yeah, the padded bra thing. Kind of see what I mean. Not much. Not very padded. But again, friendos. Everyone's going full GRS. I should just get the whole invert my penis. Invert the feminine penis. My legs are sexy because I work them out routinely. Probably far too much, actually. Titus. What was I going to say? Let me go back for a sec. Orchiectomy is offered in Texas prisons, but only for sex criminals? That's interesting. How the hell do I know what you should get? Not that I have the money for either, by the way. Full GRS is at least about 30k after Medicare, and Orchi is 4k after Medicare. Samantha Lark's true. Has she had bottom surgery? X called Dronification Ambassador. What is this about? Anyway, I may be on the titty trail. I have had some pain in that area, so that's positive. Different pain to the chest pain, like actual, my chest muscles and my heart were aching. The thing that put me in the hospital, different pain. Okay, this is very distinctly pain in that area. I think the Orchi issue is any future SRS. That's what I've been told by my endocrinologist, honestly. Where it's like, you know, if you get this done, it'll make the other thing more complicated further down the line, or maybe even impossible. So, yeah. If a penis is inverted, does that mean the vagina is as deep as the penis is long? I honestly do not know. Do I like pushing? I do like pushing. I do like pushing. As I was gonna say, I want to get more pushing stuff. I want a pushing plushie to go over there. And a Paddington. I want a Paddington bear. Can we get a Paddington bear? I want a Paddington bear. But they're very not cheap. Orgy is when they get rid of the testicles, basically. What are these? Love these for giving you an extra cup size. Bombshell Super Boost bra. I have to give that a look. The removal of the testicles.
Welcome to the Rogue Room.
Cyberghoul TV, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us. Have 1 year and 10 days before you don't get questioned about having a vasectomy. Pushing bags. Yeah, we got the pushing bags. More pushing bags. Oh my god. I don't need more pushing stuff. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There's pushing mugs. Yeah, I think... Oh no, I didn't get anything pushing related from EB Games. Can't play the guitar. I'm shit at it. When I get some more practice in, I'll start playing on stream. Anyway, we were going to talk about, this is a 14-year-old article, by the way, on ESPN about testosterone found in Chris Benoit's body. Why are your emotes not working? What the heck? Wait, what happened? What happened there? Something happened. What happened there? With the band, that's not supposed to happen. What? Your mouse. Oh shit. No, I think a mistake. I think it. Biology teacher had his cat over. Oh for fuck's sake! Oh my god. Mouse slip apparently. Such purse whore the way Imelda Marcos was with shoes. Give me the plushie cat. The plushie cat's very cute. The plushie cat's very cute. That was like $7 from Kmart. It was $7 from Kmart. Very cheap. Plugged in the external one properly. Good. Yeah, those buttons. I feel like they're a bit disastrous. Anyways, and we're all good now. Where were we? We were doing rifle-wielding soldiers develop breasts. 2 doctors at the U.S. Army Hospital in Nuremberg published in 1977 a study called Gynecomastia and Cannabis Smoking. Here we come back around to the cannabis smoking thing. They examined 11 low-ranking, abnormally big-breasted American soldiers. Some of those swell-chested fellows admitted to smoking marijuana, others did not. There you go. The report ends with a clear, sober statement. Our epidemiologic evidence does not support any relationship between chronic cannabis use and gynecomastia. That's something. That is something. How old is this? From 2013? I mean, the science may have changed. Remember, science is a perpetually shifting thing. Some evidence may have gone into changing that perspective. So, who knows? Back after leaving briefly, but not because you said anything very embarrassing. Busy little snail. Cat got neutered last week. He got an orgy. He still has his dick for peeing. Well, I would imagine so. A 41-inch plushine. Your eyes are too close together. See how that feels. Although, I will say this. Hello, Amateur. How's it going? I will say this. There's an interesting point to be made around. Like, if you see someone who is attacking someone else's appearance. Attacking their appearance back. I mean, we can't see what they look like. Just trying to fix the blanket that's on my chair here. There is something to be said about, like, stooping to the level of attacking someone else's appearance. Do I have a favorite brand of water? Water that hydrates me, generally speaking. Avocadio sounds good. Black cat sounds good. Up looks lovely. It's a dress. I keep getting up to show off the dress. Let me just bring up the photo of it. What if it's their appearance in a non-literal sense? You appear to be a very rude person. That's fair. That's a fair one. Go with that. Oh, this doesn't really show the whole dress. Hang on, let me find my Twitter post. Because everybody loves the post on Twitter. But also attacking penguins. I know, what the fuck? How can you hate penguins? You just bonk their nose and say no. Here's the dress. Here's me looking like a goofball because I was so excited to get it. Look at it. Look at it. Look at the dress. This is the whole dress. Look at it. Look at it. It's very pretty. I love it. I'm in love with it. It's so good. And Glenn Beck was a massive pothead, so much he became habit addicted that he became a Mormon as part of his treatment for habit addiction, which leads to the video and him going crazy. Alright, let's have a look at this. This is Glenn Beck losing it about Dr. Seuss. This is a Sam Cedar video. I haven't actually watched Sam Cedar. I know of Sam Cedar. Need any bit money. Oh my god. Oh my god! Look at this shit! That is entirely too much pushing. I need it. I need all of it. Alright. Let's pause this music for a sec. Remind me to turn the music back on, please. Let's talk about Glenn Beck losing it about Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss. I don't know if anyone is aware of that, but apparently, I don't know where I heard this. Dr. Seuss, and we'll talk about the Dr. Seuss thing. We'll talk about the Dr. Seuss books being banned situation. But I read somewhere a while back that it was pronounced Dr. Seuss, and then Haley says pronounced Dr. Sauce. But yeah, everyone says Dr. Seuss, so it's at this point it's just the assumption that it's Dr. Seuss. Anyway, let's have a look at this. So Sam Cedar, as far as I know, he's a good dude. He's going to be talking about Glenn Beck. He's not a dipshit.
It's so dumb, but it's interesting though. I've been reading in about Dr. Seuss.
Oh.
And apparently Dr. Seuss himself was embarrassed by some of the work that he did.
Right, which is funny that never comes up in
It never
any
comes
of
up.
it.
Let's who do we got here is here's Kevin McCarthy. They're debating HR1, which is perhaps one of the strongest sort of pro-democracy, if you want to
pro-democracy,
anti-corruption in government, opening
also,
up voting rights bill that I think has been presented by Democrats in decades, by any party in decades. Here's Kevin McCarthy knowing who his base is.
HR1 rewrites election.
You gotta head off, Detroit. Have a good one. Have a good one. Stay safe. Have a good day at work. Or is it? Are you going to work? Yeah, it is work, isn't it? Dr. Seuss. He drew some bad stuff, racist, Japanese, and African stuff. Yes, objectively bad. Yes.
Law and imposes a one-size-fits-all partisan rules from Washington.
For those who want the context of what the Dr. Seuss situation is, if you've missed the headlines, several books of his, 6 books, have been, the Seuss estate has gone out of their way and said, look, this shit's bad. We don't want to keep publishing this. So the Seuss estate, the people who own the Dr. Seuss collection, have said these particular 6 books. There's only 6. How many fucking books did Dr. Seuss put out? These particular 6 books are being withdrawn. And there are a number of, naturally, right-wingers, complete and utter rightoids, losing their shit, saying that society, the government, somebody actually accused Joe Biden of being involved, like Joe Biden gave any sort of a fuck about this situation. There are people crazily saying that this is the left's cancel culture going crazy yet again. And they're equating it to book burning and all this kind of nonsense. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Under the Constitution, we generally defer to states and counties to run elections. Democrats want to change that. First, they outlaw Dr. Seuss And now they want to tell us what to say.
For fuck's sake. Oops, that's just started music. For fuck's sake. I mean, I should just let Sam Cedar speak, but for fuck's sake. Let me replay that bit.
Outlaw Dr. Seuss.
Outlaw Dr.
And now
Seuss? Hang on.
Democrats want to change that.
Hang on.
Counties to run elections. Democrats want to change that. First, they outlawed Dr. Seuss.
First they outlawed Dr. Seuss. Again, it was the estate. The Seuss estate was just like, these books are pretty bad. Let's get rid of them.
And now they want to tell us what to say.
Now they want to tell us what to say. And that's the argument they keep going for. The right has a tendency to go for this argument. I really hate seeing this. I see this all the time. They keep going for the free speech argument. They keep saying, oh my God. Oh my God, you told me to respect your pronouns. Literal Nazis. 1984, they're suppressing my freedom of speech. Anyway. They aren't even the well-known ones. Yeah, the Dr. Seuss books that have been banned are not even well-known ones. Remember when the Democrats made Dr. Seuss illegal? What next? Harry Potter? Please. Dad read your Dr. Seuss books often, he never even heard of these ones. And who read the Lorax? Who's read the Lorax? Up until like the last 6 pages of that book, the Lorax is very, very pro-capitalism. And then you get to the end of it, and it's like, oh, right, capitalism, very bad, actually. Free speech argument is for when your position is so shit you have no better argument than it's legal to say it. Yes, exactly. Haley nailed it on the head. Haley snailed it on the head. He also changed his views. He grew as a human throughout his life in his later years. He publicly said he regretted his propaganda work. There you go.
First off, did we not hear for the past 3 months nothing but complaints about the voting process in all of these various places around the country? Like all of a sudden now.
Quite frankly, Zonas, like I would agree. I mean, I don't really read Dr. Seuss at all myself. Aside from to my kids, I have a few. Look up The Foot Book. He wrote a book called The Foot Book. Jacinta didn't believe me, and when she was over the other night, I had to find our copy of The Foot Book. It's a book about feet. It's a kid's book. It's not like it's a real kid's book. It's like a toddler's book, but it's all about feet. Draw your own conclusions there. But I do agree with the concept, and like we've said before, this is just the Seuss estate saying they don't want to print these books anymore, and they're still going to be out there. They're not going to take the books off the shelves and ban them and burn them and all that. They're just literally not printing them anymore. They've said, okay, we're not printing these books anymore because Dr. Seuss is the equivalent of being a syndicated television show. He's been around forever, and he is so popular that they keep printing his works in the same way that they keep playing The Simpsons and Seinfeld and all that. What's up, McDonald's? We're on the Seuss discourse. Sort of, yes. But we're talking about Glenn Beck losing it about Dr. Seuss. We haven't even got to that point yet.
Now he's coming out and saying that states know how to run. They had 80 lawsuits across the country in localities, in states, because supposedly all of these elections were fraudulent and rigged, and the way that they were doing these things were wrong. Why?
I'm not even sure what they're talking about yet. They haven't even got to the Dr. Seuss thing. It was only just briefly mentioned in the footage they showed from congressional hearings or whatever it was.
Wouldn't you want the opportunity to say, not one size fits all? It's just, we have a rule. You got to do this when you vote. You got to do that.
My feet are normal too.
And
well, you see, it's the Democrats who want to make it worse. They want to make it even less states' rights. And the problem is that it's not enough county states' rights, even though those counties are wildly incompetent. Like, it's almost like a win-win for them, right?
Not.
Well, because
I'm pressing the media button on my keyboard to try to pause the video, and it keeps going back to Spotify. Yeah, he made $33 million US last year as a dead man. Can somebody look up how much money Michael Jackson made last year? Do they still print his albums? And literally no one asked them to stop. They chose to stop because the books are racist or otherwise problematic. Exactly. Back in the 90s, many of the Tintin books by George Prosper Remy, known as... Is that George? How do you pronounce that? Georges? Prosper Remy, known by the pen name Hirsch, because some of the imagery was considered racist and anti-Semitic. Really, it was done quietly. Barely anyone noticed. Exactly. Cancel culture hasn't come anywhere. It's consequence culture. There's no such thing as cancel culture. Cancel culture is not a thing. Shapiro said he was going to buy up all the books and they're discontinuing so he can teach them to his kids. People replied to him with screenshots of all the super racism. Oh, fuck.
Change their mind.
Democrats don't want less states' rights, by the way. They want the states' rights and laws to be less fucking oppressive on the occupants. That'd be nice. MJ made 400... Oh my god. $100 million. The man's dead. $400 million in 2018.
Well, no, I mean, they either they deregulate voting or just basically rig it so much in favor of white people and Republicans that they get what they want. Or they make it, they lock Democrats out from ever changing it, and it's so inefficient and convoluted and terrible that they can claim voter fraud every other election for the next many decades. That's
no one's books are being cancelled. Lictar, just six or seven books of Dr. Seuss's. The estate of Dr. Seuss has said we don't want to publish these books anymore, so they're just pulling those books from publication. They're not being removed from syndication, not being removed from circulation. If you come across these books in a bookshop, you can still buy them. If you have a copy, the Democrat police are not going to come to your door and steal away your Nazi Dr. Seuss books, like the Republicans are going off about. The Seuss estate, which is entirely their right as a business, have decided they don't want to publish those particular problematic books anymore.
That's kind of their MO.
I should also say, though, however, McCarthy's right. I don't think Congress should have outlawed Dr. Seuss. That was wrong.
That was wrong. What's next, Sam?
Yeah, get your priorities.
I mean, Matt was on Twitter yesterday, a little concerned about what's going to happen to the Hardy Boys.
I know. I'm terrified that the secret tower.
The straight face shit always gets me. Never listened to Michael Jackson for fun. You grew up knowing he was a pedo. Yeah, fair. Wasn't he anti-Nazi? He did change his viewpoints later in life. We have talked about that a little bit. Just waiting to see how long until the whole 90s era gets called a controversial generation. The publishing company that handles Dr. Seuss books has stopped printing a few books out of the entire collection, pretty much. Will they steal your great-grandpa's SS uniform? What are these books so I can buy them and hold them? Hold them over rightoids who desperately want them. You're upset that millions of people live in leftists. Right-wingers, you fucking SJW cocks. I love how the right continually gets offended at things and then says we're too sensitive. The left gets upset about things like racism and poverty, while the right gets upset about what happens to Gina Carano, Potato Head, 6 Dr. Seuss books, and the guy from The Apprentice, and they have the gall to call us snowflakes, pretty much. It's kind of hilariously ironic. I'm surprised I didn't see this many years ago. Just like, again, I will speak to the idea that, you know, quite a few years ago, especially on Reddit, I was subscribed to a number of different communities on Reddit that, now looking back, they were very much alt-right kind of little communities. They definitely espoused a number of viewpoints that were specifically anti-SJW kind of stuff. And looking back on it now, it's like, these people were going out of their way to find things to post about. They would troll through like Tumblr and Twitter and all that, looking for the absolute craziest types of people they could to say, look, this is how absolutely weird and wild all them SJWs is. Not realizing that they, like, imagine being that obsessive. Imagine being that obsessed with how somebody else decides to pursue, generally speaking, civil rights. You know, later in life he was writing anti-Nazi work in his 20s and 30s, and the racism books were in the 50s. When did he die? How old was he? I can't even think of, like, when was he born? When did he die? I don't know. Right-wing private companies can do anything they want and the government can't stop them. Private company does anything, right-wing, yep. It's always like when something goes against their specific plans. Anyway.
Did you read all those?
No, I
read Nancy Drew.
I got the box set. I read like the first 3 of them.
The Hardy Boys, okay, well, that's just because I'm a girl, but I just like Nancy Drew a lot better. Gotta say.
I will become an anarchist cat girl, don't worry.
But only after
the bow tie is like the first step to getting cat ears.
I love Encyclopedia Browns.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Are you going to be sad? Oh, go.
The fact that they are outlawing Encyclopedia Brown in this COVID relief bill is just absurd.
I know. I mean, they keep changing. Why do they want to take all these Dr. Seuss statues off of federal land? They're tearing them down. They're defacing them. I mean, the left.
What's
Then they're
Encyclopedia
putting
Brad?
up their Antifa
I don't know.
statues.
The way they tore down that Sneetch's statue in Virginia was just completely disrespectful.
Totally.
Very disrespectful.
Let's check out Dave Rubin's boss, Glenn Beck. See if
Here we go. We
Glenn
get to the Glenn Beck
can do
bit
this whole
finally.
Mr. Potato Head,
Hang on.
Dr.
Oh, what? Why did it mute?
Glenn Beck. Dave Rubin's boss, Glenn Beck.
They are doing satire.
See
They're
if
taking the
Glenn
piss.
Beck can do this whole Mr. Potato Head, Dr. Seuss thing a little bit better than Dave Rubin, who gotta probably, I don't know.
The Dr. Seuss has statues thing. That's the piss take. They were kind of taking the piss out of all the Republicans who were angry at protesters tearing down statues of, what's the name? The Confederate heroes, in quotes. So they're taking the piss out of that. Like, Dr. Seuss doesn't have statues, or if he does, they're not being torn down. There's no statues of Dr. Seuss being torn down, but the Republicans were getting really, really pissy, really, really pissy about Confederate statues being torn down. People like Robert E. Lee, yes. And that's what they're pointing fun at. That's what they're poking fun at. Can't believe they're tearing down. Like, this is how you do good satire, right? This is how you do good satire. Look at how straight-laced they are. Look at how straight-faced, po-faced they are. They're not cracking a smile. They're making these remarks on the fly, and they're just treating it completely seriously. That's how you do good parody, good satire. Yeah, they fooled you, exactly. Getting you hungry for potatoes. Yeah, respect is not warranted when tearing down monuments to racism, exactly. The Bob's Big Boy statues are gone. Footage of Joe Biden going to the toilet in the mouth of a statue of Dr. Seuss after it was ripped down by a BLM activist. Ooh, garlic bread. I want some garlic bread. Big tech is a bit of a dog whistle. Twitter doesn't have to allow everything on their platform. It's not a public space, even if the public can use it as such. No First Amendment rights are contravened by Twitter banning folks. Exactly. Welcome to the Rogue Room. Oh no, a dynamite shark! Please don't bite me and blow me up. Abraham Lincoln, the guy who freed the slaves, he's cancelled now. Can you believe? I still can't get over this. I cannot fathom this. I cannot fathom. They got my man. They got my dude, Genghis Khan. That is fucked up. Why? Why would you cancel Genghis Khan? I can't understand this. They really just, they destroyed his entire reputation. His career is gone. They cancelled Jack the Ripper. All he ever did was rip. Like, he did exactly what he was supposed to. Is it a crime to rip back in those days? It's hard to say. I don't know what the laws were back in the 1800s. Lots of people just got killed in the streets. Twitter should be banned. You can't go on there without seeing 10 bad takes. That's exactly why I go on there, honestly. Likelihood of right-wingers being the one to deface the Abe Lincoln statue in an effort to scapegoat leftists is a 50-50. Kind of fucked up. Yes, absolutely, Jacinta. It is fucked up that Twitter didn't remove literal cheese pizza from their platform. Remarkable, honestly. Dropping follows in your recommended section and saying nice things, you deserve it, and you want to. Thank you. And you like my bow. Thank you very kindly. Hope you're doing well, Shark. Cheese pizza, let's be quite frank here. Cheese pizza is not a dog whistle. That's not the word I'm looking. It's a way to not say pornography. I don't want to say that phrase because it puts really disturbing images in your head. Oh, but there was cheese pizza being distributed on Twitter, probably still is, and Twitter was not doing anything about it. In fact, went out of their way to say something to the effect of it doesn't violate any of our terms of service. Fox, there you go. Twitter literally wait till someone gets hurt before doing anything. They should absolutely do something about child exploitation. Yes, they fucking should. Don't call it CPP is fine. Exploit, yes, true, but it does elucidate the point. It wouldn't put it beyond some people in our wing to be crazy enough to try and cancel Abe Lincoln. Oh, for sure. Hello, Beth. How's it going? Just ripped some sweet tunes on his guitar. Genghis Khan did wonders for the carbon footprint. I know. We need another Genghis Khan, quite frankly. This is why I like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Thanos could have been this generation's inspiration for the next Genghis Khan, but thanks to Twitter cancelling him. Thanks to Twitter cancelling Genghis Khan, we're never going to see that level of worldwide genocide again. I'm trying my best here, honestly. Like, this is as far as I can go. I'm trying, this is why I tend to crack a smile all the time. When I'm taking the piss, when I'm doing the satire thing, when I'm being as facetious as I possibly can, I laugh a lot because I want you to know I'm having a giggle, mate. When you watch erotic content, it is of adults, as it well should be. Anyway, shall we continue? They don't want to cancel Nicola Sturgeon even though she's using £38 million of government money for her own benefit. They always go on about, cancelling people it's going to destroy their careers, it's going to destroy their lives, and it's like, well, if they're going out of their way to destroy other people's lives, fuck them. Thanks for the posture check, Sly Fox. Hello, Sammy, how's it going?
A practice before he goes on air with this stuff. Here is Glenn Beck bemoaning the loss of freedom in this country because Mr. Potato Head is now just Potato Head.
They have now banned 6 books from Dr. Seuss.
Pause it. They, whoever they are, have not banned anybody. They are the organization that his estate, essentially, that has decided to stop publishing 6 books
out of 60
because of the work that they feel that even Dr. Seuss would have been embarrassed by. One of Mr. Giesel's own...
Gotta get to class, Phage. Have a good one. Have a good one. Look it up every time zone to find out why no one wants to watch you. People want to watch you, Sammy. You're going to do a survey, but you're paranoid that you're going to get fucked results. It's very tricky, honestly. Dr. Seuss should have done 9 more books, to be honest. Yeah, £38 million, that would sink you into the earth. Yeah, exactly. Seriously need to buy those books and hold on to them. They probably will be worth a fortune, honestly. Like, with them going out of print, these books will be worth a fortune. Marvel has a Genghis Khan in the form of Mandarin who is up in... Oh, yeah, true. Mandarin, which they fucked up in Iron Man. They really, really fucked up in Iron Man. Have a good one, Epolite. Have a good one. Can please cancel nightmares while sleeping because you need sleep. Understandable. And yeah, banned is objectively untrue.
Own family members. This is from a 2017.
This is Dr. Seuss. His
honestly wouldn't be surprised if Snail Girl was a character.
Right,
yeah, his real name was not Dr. Seuss.
And and there's a Dr. Seuss museum. It's in Springfield. It's not far, Springfield, Mass. And one of Mr. Giesel's own family members who helped curate an exhibit for the museum said that Mr. Giesel would agree. And that is, there are things that, Giesel wrote his stuff during World War II sometimes. And we had a horrible chapter in this country where we sent Japanese people to concentration camps. And
honestly, really fucking annoyed that I didn't think to buy a Gina Carano action figure from The Mandalorian now, given that they're all being pulled. And yeah, I could use that money. Maybe I should get into the habit of learning people's... if somebody is starring in a popular movie that's going to have action figures and they have some contrarian viewpoints, I need to jump on that shit and buy those action figures in advance so that when they inevitably get cancelled by the left, by the dreaded amorphous blob known as the left, they skyrocket in value. Zygle, I think it was Ziegel, isn't it how he's pronouncing it? Or Ziesel? Why haven't they cancelled superhero movies? It's bringing down the movie industry at this point. Mandarin is a yellow peril villain, so they were afraid to do it, but honestly, the other occasionally yellow peril villain is actually interesting. Is it better or worse than the Mandarin being generically Chinese? Well, they are going to make him the Mandarin in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. But yeah, the main issue that I had with the Mandarin in Iron Man 3 is just that, quite frankly, the reveal in the end of Iron Man 3, I guess, where it's just Guy Pearce. It's just Guy Pearce with dragon tattoos. And that was really boring as a character design. But yes, you do have to face the reality that the Mandarin, especially like the name the Mandarin already to begin with, is kind of problematic. Was it the middle? Something like that, I don't know. The problem with the Mandarin, of course, is that Mandarin is the language of the Chinese people. And as a result, the character is already named technically very stereotypically. So choosing the name, the character, the whole thing needs to be like taken back to foundation and start over. Thanks for the hydration. However, if you're doing Shang-Chi, all of a sudden you can take the character of the Mandarin and put it in a setting. Oh, one of the language, yes, one of the language. Yeah, because China's got a lot of languages, a lot of dialects. I think Mandarin is the most well-known one. Most popular one. Not popular, you know what I mean, most commonly spoken. Next Wednesday, Fox, is when I'm going to do more Bioshock. Ever say Jabba the Hutt is fat shaming yet? He's a giant slug. Animated series version of the Mandarin was vastly superior. Like, we could talk about the whole idea of, the yellow peril villain concept. Very, very racist. They wouldn't have gotten away with it in 2013 or whenever Iron Man 3 came out. And they saw that, they knew that, but instead what they decided to do was create this villain that emulated the Middle Eastern trope of like kind of a Osama bin Laden type character, which in its own way, and it turns out it's a British guy pretending to be a Middle Eastern terrorist leader, which it has its own slew of problems. Overall, I think Iron Man 1 was quite groundbreaking in terms of superhero movies, but the latter two, while they had some good elements, didn't come anywhere close. Kind of funny and weird how people are mad about a toy potato because it has a mustache. It's a man, and Dr. Seuss saying something to the effect of, oh my bad, that stuff was kind of racist, I don't like that anymore. Well, I mean, he's not saying it, he's dead. However, the estate of Dr. Seuss has pulled them from print because they are racist. Fu Manchu, played by Christopher Lee, is pretty good. Is still racist though. Still racist. And Kublai Khan, played by what's his name? Way back when. Back when they wouldn't cast Asians in movies, they would have white men dressed up as Asians. Kublai Khan, played by, I can't remember his name now. Anyway, let's keep going back. Even saying Middle East has its issues. Apparently Swana is preferred. John Wayne, that was him. John Wayne, yeah.
And there was a lot of racism involved in the way that we would portray Japanese people because of the war. And
quite frankly, this never went away. There's the racism he's talking about, like we just literally touched on, the way that people from Islamic countries are portrayed now. Like, what was that fucking dumb fuck comedian who does the puppets? And he's got Ahmed the Dead Terrorist, is like one of the most lazy, racist pieces of comedy. Attempted humor that I've ever fucking seen in my life. Jeff Dunham, that stupid cunt. I can't stand him. The antithesis. Like, if you go to Jeff Dunham's Wikipedia page, the first line should read, Jeff Dunham is the antithesis of comedy. Right? He's just like, he's the opposite of funny. Yeah, I know it's Jeff Dunham, guys.
To understand, for instance, Philip Nell, a children's literature scholar at Kansas State University, said, I think to understand Seuss fully, you need to understand the complexity of his career. You need to understand that he's involved in both anti-racism and racism.
Change the article.
You get that if you omit the political work. They were talking about looking at his stuff in the museum. Dr. Seuss owes it to Japanese Americans. This was people who were complaining about to Japanese Americans and the American people to acknowledge the role that his racist political cartoons played so that this atrocity doesn't happen to minority groups again. And one of Giesel's own family members who helped curate an exhibit for the museum said that Mr. Giesel would agree I think he would find it a legitimate criticism because I remember talking to him about it at least once and him saying things were done a certain way back then, said Ted Owens, great nephew of Mr. Giesel. Characterizations were done and he was a cartoonist and he tended to adopt those. And I know later in his life, he was not proud of those at all.
Did it actually work? Did you actually do it? Did you do it? Jeffrey Dunham, born April 18, 1962, is an American ventriloquist stand-up comedian and actor who is the antithesis of comedy. We managed to violate Wikipedia live on stream. Can we get some fucking pogs in chat? That is greater than anything I could ever accomplish on this channel. Welcome to the Rogue Room. It's Sunny. How you doing? This is Praxis. Oh, fuck, that's amazing. That is fucking amazing. You absolute legend. You absolute fucking legend. Hold up a sec. Let me do something. How do I? Don't play my volume. Turn my volume off. Hang on a sec. How does this work? Nah, not working. Okay, never mind. Very big pog. I wonder how long that's going to stay up. How long do you reckon that's going to stay there? Has Wikipedia already changed it back? Let's try. Oh no. Oh, this article is semi-protected to promote compliance with the policy on biographies of living persons. The edit is available. Save that link, folks. Oh, it's fucking great. Anyway. Need editor access.
Mr. Giesel suggested this himself decades after the war. This is Dr. Seuss. In a 1976 interview, he said of his PM cartoons, "When I look at them now, they're hardly and embarrassingly badly drawn. They're full of snap judgments and that every political cartoonist has to make." So there were cartoons, representations he made that he would have been embarrassed about. Here it's Giesel. Sorry.
Geisel. There we go. His surname is Geisel. Dr. Seuss' actual surname is Geisel.
And so here is Glenn Beck again talking about banning. Nothing was banned. They just took it off. They stopped publishing it.
6 books from Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss. You can no longer.
Yeah, I heard that. The dicks of like what? What did we come back to? Dick's books. He must have been saying the end of something, and I can't think of like what it would be. Something you'll find it's hard to. Something that you'll find is hard to find. DC and timely proto Marvel comics, wartime comics, as they were really racist, even Slapper Jap or something promoted in many comics. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, dicks. Can we get some dicks in chat? One of the major things that I distinctly remember, a panel I distinctly remember, from a Captain America comic was an Asian soldier hitting Captain America in the back of the head, and he says something really racist. He says something stupidly racist. Like, "I'll get you for that, you yellow commie," or something like that. Like, he says something really fucking racist, something you would not say in this day and age. It's kind of crazy how flagrant. I mean, I keep saying crazy. I'm sorry, that's ableist. Don't say crazy. Don't say anything that's like crazy, insane, etc., etc. Don't use those words. They are ableist. Anyway, it's kind of wild to me. That's the word you should use, wild. It's kind of wild to me to think that all of that kind of racism was so prevalent, and yet, at the same time, I'm on social media, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. I see this shit constantly. I see the bigotry constantly. It kind of baffles me to think, we came from a time period, in the last 100 years where there was so much racism, so much bigotry on numerous different levels, and yet at the same time, we haven't really progressed. There's still a ton of bigotry. Especially nowadays, honestly. I feel like it's gotten worse in the past 5 years. Does wacky qualify? I think wacky is definitely another one of those ableist kind of words. Wacky, spaz, insane, crazy, loopy.
The Rogue Room appreciates your
German, thank you for the
recommendation.
host. Welcome in, how you doing? Read an Iron Man comic before the movies, and the character was black. Don't know why they chose Robert Downey Jr. instead when they made the movie. Was it War Machine, perhaps? I mean, they've had numerous different interpretations of Iron Man, Captain America, and all that. Like, at the moment, I think either Captain America or the Winter Soldier in the comics is Captain America now. Cops are still lynching 2 of your people every week, pretty much.
You can no longer print these 6 books. If I ran a zoo, and I think I saw it on Mulberry Street, Beyond Zebra, Scrambled Egg Super, The Cat's Quizzer.
Oh, classics.
This according to a panel of educators and experts.
Who's read those?
They are banning
They're not banning.
Dr. Seuss books.
Why do they go for this so often? Why do they immediately... Yeah, the way he said experts. This is the kind of person who has no education, all right? Let's throw this out there right now. Glenn Beck is the kind of man who has no education, or the education he does have is in, like, marketing. And he's just a very, very opinionated person with a platform. And he uses that platform to spread flagrant lies. Honestly, Glenn Beck is, quite frankly, in that regard, as someone with a platform spreading flagrant lies, shifting reality to serve his particular narrative to his audience of bigots who do not believe the reality of the situation, who refuse to believe the reality of the situation, is a fascist. Glenn Beck is a fascist, by that definition. Hulk is no Captain America, but the Hulk is a Chinese or Korean American guy. Yep, I remember that. And for a short time, Iron Man was a black girl until he came back and she became Ironheart. There was a lot of, like, naturally, of course, there was a lot of flack for the, like, black uni student girl who became Iron Man for a bit. And, of course, lots of racism. Glenn Beck has as many ideas as you have dollars, not many. What was the first one? I've lost... The first witch. Yeah, Amadeus Cho Hulk as well, yeah. I think one of the major issues that people had with Amadeus Cho Hulk was the seeming Mary Sooness of the character. Still amazing that the comic version of the Academy Awards is the Will Eisner Award. Just Google Spirit Ebony White. Hang on.
How much?
Stop.
Them.
Oh my god. Okay, let me look this up. Let me Google this. I always tend to Google things off camera just in case. The Spirit, Ebony White, addressing Ebony White, was Will Eisner racist? What was up with the Ebony White character? For those not in the know, Will Eisner wrote and drew The Spirit, a comic that practically invented the language of the comic book medium. The Spirit is Denny Colt, a detective whom the world believes is dead. Each Spirit story is about 7 pages long, is incredibly inventive. It would be an understatement to say that Will Eisner was well ahead of his time, except for Ebony White. This is Ebony White. Okay, I think I see the point here. The point is made. I don't need to read the whole article. Yikes. Can we get some yikes in chat? Anyway, let's continue.
More do you need to see before all of America wakes up and goes, this is fascism?
Says the fascist. Warping reality. This is fascism! They're burning our books! Meanwhile, someone twisting reality to fit his own narrative. To change minds in a toxic manner that turns people against each other. Fascism could be butt fucking Glenn and he wouldn't call it fascism. My enemies are the real fascists. Cancel culture is fascism.
This is fascism. You don't destroy books.
Like that's the problem he has. Is that an organization, a company, a corporation, the estate of Dr. Seuss, the estate of Dr. Seuss has said these old books are problematic and therefore we're not going to print them. No one in the government, again, they're not banned. The government is not saying you can't have these books. The government is not taking these books away from you. The government is not taking piles of these books out into the streets like the Nazis did. from a transgender clinic. If we need to bring up that little fine detail, one of the first book burnings the Nazis did was they stole a bunch of literature from a trans clinic and burned it in the street. It's nowhere near the same as a company and a state saying, these books are problematic, we don't want to publish them anymore. They're not taking your books off you, they're not burning them, they're not destroying them. That literature is not going anywhere. If it's already printed, it's still allowed to exist. Gina Carano called people who didn't agree with her Nazis. Exactly. Mussolini did hate Chinese stereotypes. You own a copy of HP and the Cursed Child, and you'll burn it. It's not even one of the transphobes' better works. You don't burn books. Now let me stoke this Quran before my fire goes out. And before the Nazis, white people were burning indigenous books in the 1500s. Exactly. Exactly. Book burnings have been going back ages and ages and ages and ages. And it's always a fascistic move. But this is not a fascistic move. It's like if I published something 10 years ago, and it was still in syndication. And I reached out to my publisher and said, look, that book that I wrote is not, it doesn't represent what I represent anymore, and I'd like to pull it from syndication. And the publisher says to me, you know what, you're right. It is a problematic work. We're going to stop publishing it. The existing copies of that book are still allowed to go and be sold and traded if people want to move them around. We're not going to put out an order to get every single one of those books rescinded for the sake of destroying them. That literature still exists. Hell, there are books today that are still out there in libraries that have been out of print for like 50 fucking years or more. You know, there are books that they just don't print anymore. Probably because of lack of interest. Does that make that a fascistic move, that they decide to not print certain books anymore because there's just not enough interest in printing those books? Not profitable to do so? They're being forced to publish books they didn't want to. That dude would be furious. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Library of Alexandria burned down because some stoner threw a joint. I don't love that person is cancelled. How dare you not immediately destroy the stuff you bought? Please don't demand that anyone who owns the book must immediately send it to trash. No, I've never said that. I spent cash money on this, still have a use for the product. Yeah, that's understandable. I still give my sister a bit of grief for openly displaying her Harry Potter books, but I'm not going to tell her to take them down. Who is buying new copies of If I Ran the Zoo? Exactly. Burn Bible pages if you run out of rolling papers. Look at people burning books. Hold your iPad close. Books are digital. Exactly. But what happens if your iPad actually dies though? Like you can't charge it anymore.
What is wrong with us, America?
Destroy books.
Go out and buy those books today. Find out if you can get them.
Again, I don't believe cancel culture is a
Buy
real thing.
Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head. Because it's the end of an era. It is the end of freedom.
What era? What era? What's ending? You is what is wrong with America, Glenn. People like him, yes. What era? What era is ending? This comes back to the fucking thing with the when Joe Rogan had the guy on, he's like, empires fall when they become obsessed with gender identity and transsexuals. Empires fall. Like, shut the fuck up. The era of false gender stereotypes.
In America.
Actually, oops.
Where you are bullied.
The era of gender
to
reveal
the
parties.
point to where you better not have that book.
Why'd it freeze? Oh, he paused it.
I would recommend going out and buying those too, because they'll probably be, sellable on eBay for,
sell them to some moron right winger.
Yeah, exactly.
Sell them to
a Glenn Beck guy.
Sell them to Glenn Beck fan 123.
You know what? Give me a sec for a second. Let me just look this up. I need to see this. All right. If I Ran the Zoo, Dr. Seuss, near new condition, $160, $110, $122, $100. I could probably afford to buy one of these. I shouldn't. I shouldn't. But realistically, I could probably. Here's one. We found one, folks. We found one. All of the rest of these are like around $100, right? Around $100. This one is what we were looking for. Already, 3-band Dr. Seuss books. Mulberry Street, If I Ran the Zoo, Scrambled Egg Super. Starting bid, $400. Or payout price of $1,000. I should buy one now while they're still cheap. Not this one, but the other ones that are listed for like 100, 160. I mean, these are all bids. These are all bidding ones. People are bidding on these. Arguably, I mean, that's another good point too, Lilith. Arguably impossible to destroy books these days. If I Ran the Zoo is available for free on bok.cc. So all these pieces of literature are available somewhere on the internet. All these are available somewhere online. Anyway, I do remember the Beanie Babies thing. We talked about that recently, especially about that lawsuit, the divorce between that couple who were forced to separate their Beanie Babies in court. Idiots.
You could package the Potato Heads and the Dr. Seuss books together as like some type of like taste of freedom.
Put a Mr. Potato Head in a little Cat in the hat.
Well, and he also says like you can no longer print these books, which actually points to the real cancel culture, which is copyright law, which has been extended far too long. And if it wasn't extended, these would all be public domain, and these people could share PDFs of these dumb books to their heart's content, and their kids could be freed from the 1984 future that this publishing company is leading them toward.
Well, wasn't that what just happened with Josh Hawley? He was canceled and persecuted by the world.
Yes, cancel copyright law.
The publisher decided to push off his book into a secondary publisher so they didn't get backlash from the public, or was that Tom Cotton? I can't remember.
Literally.
But either way, yeah, obviously both victims.
At the risk of repeating your message, you saw a meme that said, with the amount of stuff Mr. Potato Head keeps in his ass. Don't think he's the conservative icon you think he is. Well, yeah. Okay, so that's the end of that video. There's nothing really else there. It's like the last 10 seconds. We can skip the last 10 seconds. Smoothest segue into cancellation of copyright I've ever seen. There we have it. So, like, for anyone who missed the summary there. 6 Dr. Seuss books won't be published anymore because they portray people in hurtful and wrong ways. And those books are... And to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street, If I Ran the Zoo, McElligot's Pool, On Beyond Zebra, Scrambled Eggs Super, The Cat's Quizzer. Those ones are being no longer printed. Dr. Seuss Enterprises had made the decision after consulting educators and reviewing its catalogue. Ceasing sales of these books is only part of our commitment and our broader plan to ensure Dr. Seuss Enterprises catalogue represents and supports all communities and families. Seuss, born Dr. Theodore Seuss Geisel, is one of the best-known authors in the world, the man behind beloved classics like The Cat in the Hat, Green Eggs and Ham, and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Dr. Seuss had a long history of publishing racist and anti-Semitic work spanning back to the 1920s when he was a student at Dartmouth College. There, Dr. Seuss once drew black boxes as gorillas and perpetuated Jewish stereotypes by portraying Jewish characters as financially stingy, according to a study published in the journal Research on Diversity in Youth Literature. That study, published in 2019, examined 50 books by Dr. Seuss and found 43 out of the 45 characters of color to have characteristics aligning with the definition of Orientalism, or the stereotypical offensive portrayal of Asia. The 2 African characters, African in quotes, the study says both have anti-black characteristics. 2 specific examples, according to the study, are found in the books The Cat's Quizzer, Are You Smarter Than the Cat in the Hat? And If I Ran the Zoo. In The Cat's Quizzer, the Japanese character is referred to as a Japanese, has a bright yellow face, and is standing on what appears to be Mount Fuji. Oh my god. Just put some glue on the problematic pages. Regarding If I Ran the Zoo, the study points out another example of Orientalism and white supremacy. The 3 and only 3 Asian characters who are not wearing conical hats are carrying a white male on their heads in If I Ran the Zoo. The white male is not only on top of and being carried by these Asian characters, but he's also holding a gun, illustrating dominance. The text beneath the Asian characters describes them as helpers who all wear their eyes at a slant from countries no one can spell, study authors wrote. Cute, Bo, thank you. We'll do our hydration. Want to know how we dismantle copyright laws? There you go, by the way. Magic. We dismantle all corporations, completely make all industry connected to the government, automate it, and then distribute appropriate universal basic income. Yep, socialism. Is it socialism or is it communism? Anyway. The study also argues that since the majority of human characters in Dr. Seuss books are white, his works inadvertently are not, centers whiteness, and thus perpetuates white supremacy. There's a point to be made there, but compared to the other stuff, I think the other stuff institutes white supremacy more so than the characters are white. Yeah. All right, Unicorn, have your timeout. Oh no, hang on. I did that wrong. Hold on a second. You're not supposed to be timed out for that long. Fuck. 60 seconds, not 600 seconds. Separating Seuss from children's literature. Earlier this week, a school district in Virginia made headlines for allegedly banning books by Dr. Seuss. But Loudoun County Public Schools, located in Ashburn, said it is not banning books by the famous children's author. It's just discouraging a connection between Read Across America Day, which was created to get kids excited about reading, and Dr. Seuss' birthday. Both fall on March 2 and have often been historically connected to each other, the district said in a statement. Research in recent years has revealed strong racial undertones in many books written and illustrated by Dr. Seuss, LCPS said in its statement, which links to a School Library Journal article from 2018 and the National Education Association, focusing its Read Across America efforts on diversity, not Dr. Seuss. Why are you all getting timed out? You can't do this to me. There's gonna be nobody left and for me to talk to. There we go. Both your timeouts. Unless you're talking theory, you can use socialism and communism interchangeably. Yeah, true. There are differences between socialism and communism, but largely speaking, you know, I don't know. You can time yourself out if you've got 700 amethysts. Rogue coin, sorry. You're here. Welcome back. Imagine accidentally typing 6,000 seconds. Well, if you accidentally put in the wrong amount to time someone out for, you can replace it with, like, if you accidentally time someone out, you can time someone out for 1 second and it removes the other timeout. You know, if you accidentally time someone out for 10 minutes, just do timeout username 1 and they're untimed out again. Rena, please go for a walk today. It's good for you. Cardio is good for you. It keeps you fit. Anyway, I'm being very loud and shouty, and it is 10:30. That topic took us the entire hour and a half. Not a single sub to show for it. I am disappointed. I'm going to go take a leak because I'm busting. Fucking hell. Help yourselves to a drink, chill out. We'll be back in a moment. And we'll talk about Vladimir Lenin or autism. Pick one. We'll be back in a minute. Don't go away. G'day folks, I'm back. How's it going? How's it hanging? Oh my goodness. Botwick needs to learn their place. Botwick is dandy. Botwick is fun. Actually, you know what? On my alerts, you might have noticed, I'm back now, and I'm indulging my inner American here. I have a cherry Coke. This is a rare treat that I give myself. Because they're not cheap. They're like $3 or $4 a can at the supermarket. Because they're imports. They don't actually sell cherry Coke in the regular soda section. You gotta go to the international food section to get cans. Individual cans of cherry Coke and Dr. Pepper. They don't actually manufacture it here in Australia. Mix sounds a lot more like Mr. than Mister. Not sure that's right for me. The whole concept of that, what's that called? It's not a pronoun. By the way, dude. It's, yeah, hella expensive in Australia, yeah. Enjoy that American product. I'll read your comment in a second, Sabercat. I just want to talk about how I've lost so many subscribers. Because we keep getting massive gift sub bombs. This past month has been nothing but massive gift sub bombs. And no one's redeeming those gift subs. How dare you, you rude bastards. No, I don't care that much. Anyway. One for the parasocial interconnection to reality box, even though you were once stalked and intimidated on Star Wars Galaxies by a Jedi apprentice who you had gotten as a bounty and they stalked you, trying to spoil your game for a month after. What's this? Second life affair leads to real life divorce. British couple set to divorce after wife finds her husband's alter ego chatting affectionately with a woman in the virtual world. I mean, I suppose that's one of the sad realities of being perpetually online, I guess. You know, people can definitely develop emotional connections online, and emotional cheating is a thing, as well as obviously can develop into physical things. As for socialism and communism, the nuances are automation and the proletariat owning the means of production. Well, yeah, pretty much. Communism is option 2. Communism is communally owned, communally governed. Socialism is not. There you go. Felt sad, so you're in a bubble. Why are you in a bubble? Anyway, I think we're done with Dr. Seuss. Do we want to talk autism? Because there is an article regarding Sia's fucking movie. This is Ambient Gold by Harris Heller. I'm just listening to the Stream Beats Lo-Fi playlist at the moment. Because I know we're all so overjoyed by this movie made by Sia. Who governs socialism then? That's a whole discussion. Yes, autism, please. Let's talk autism. Okay. For those of you, let's look before we get into this article, let's talk about what autism actually is. Actually, let me refresh my memory, because you know I've been educated on my own autism my entire life, so I've got a fair understanding of it, quite frankly. But to use autismspectrum.org.au's definition, autism is a condition that affects how a person thinks, feels, interacts with others, and experiences their environment. It is estimated that 1 in 70 people are on the autism spectrum. It is a lifelong disability that starts when a person is born and stays with them into old age. Every autistic person is different to every other. That's why autism is described as a spectrum. Aspect describes autism as a different brilliant, which is very cute. What are the myths and misunderstandings about characteristics of autism? There are a lot of myths and misunderstandings about autism, but while many autistic people experience difficulties, with the right support, autistic people can achieve a great quality of life. Have I seen Second Life? I have seen it, yeah. Is it still going on? Is Second Life still going? How do let me just find here's the song link on Spotify. That's this song, and oops. This is the playlist, if you want to listen to it. Demacia. Second Life is still very popular. Okay. What do you mean? Is it hypochondria charging? What do you mean? Can you prove it? What do you mean? Can you prove it? There's also the misconception that the autism spectrum is linear. In fact, autistic people can display a wide range of characteristics in their strengths, communications, social interactions, leisure, and play, which can more appear like a constellation. So here's a lovely little graphic that'll help you understand it a little bit. See more information about these characteristics below. So, should we go into like the other areas of it? Should we talk about autism on a... Well, let's do some detail talk, and then we'll talk about the movie music and Kate Hudson's recent movie. Well, Sia's movie. Honestly, I barely even noticed that Kate Hudson was in it because the focus has been entirely on Sia and Maddie Ziegler. So, you know, I barely even noticed that Kate Hudson, an actual established actress with a career in film, was even in this fucking movie. And she's like the deuteragonist, if you consider the music as the protagonist. Just like many other mental differences, autism can be proven. As an autistic person, you would like to say, fuck Sia! Can we get some fuchsia in chat? Can we get some fuchsia in chat? For those of you who aren't aware, fuchsia is spelled like this. Actually, no, I think it's not. No, it is. Fuchsia is spelled like that. Can we get some fuchsias in chat? Fuchsia is a type of plant, for the record. It's a type of flower. Anyway, what are we talking? Can we get some fuchsias in chat? So, what challenges are associated with autism? Often linked with physical, developmental, or mental health conditions such as intellectual disability, epilepsy, gastrointestinal issues, ADHD, dyspraxia, anxiety, or depression. In the US, sure, you had to undergo the brain scans for your mental health issues. Well, yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, there is a fuchsia city or something in Pokemon, isn't there? However, many of the disabling challenges associated with autism come about when individuals don't have the respect, understanding, and supports that allow them to be comfortable in a non-autistic world. Autism is a different brilliant. Aspect offers a comprehensive approach based on the idea of a different brilliant, and that's just like some details about the organization. Let's talk about like strengths. Let's go through this. Let's go through this whole thing. Yeah, I think there's been a number of towns in Pokemon that are based on either the names of plants or the names of colors. Excuse me. And all of the professors are named after different trees, if I'm not mistaken. There was Professor Oak, and then there was Professor Birch, and Professor... I don't know, fucking Redwood. Anyway. Areas of strength vary, but include logical or visual thinking, persistence, eye for detail, good skills with technology, memory for facts and figures. Of those, I would say at the very least, logical or visual thinking and eye for detail, good skills with technology, those ones definitely apply to me. Even Ash is a tree. Very strong focus on specific interest areas. This is called hyperfocusing, where someone who is autistic, people who are very heavily autistic, tend to hyperfocus quite severely. We did review that video recently of the guy who could take a look at a city and draw it from memory. And, like, look him up. He was an autistic savant. Is still alive. Really you understand the anger, but after looking at the trailer you thought, oh, more pretentious crap with a singer who wants to be a renaissance person like Madonna back in the 90s, where she wanted to be a big star in cinema as well as music, and it usually leads to terrible acting. Oh no, Sia's not in the movie. Sia directed the movie. Sia created the movie, but she's not in it. Kate Hudson is the main character, and music, like the autistic kid's name is Music, it's actually named Music, is portrayed by Maddie Ziegler, who is not an autistic person, which was strike one for a lot of people. You notice the blanket? Funnily enough, I ordered this blanket and this dress on the same order, but this dress came like 2 weeks after the fact, or a week after the fact. I only got it today. This is actually on the subject of Pokemon. This is kind of amusing. The article here mentions deep interest in typical topics such as Pokemon, sport, Disney, or trains, or more unusual topics, e.g. air conditioners or bins. Honestly, Dark Souls. Dark Souls is that thing that gets me going like nothing else. I'm super keen on Dark Souls. It's my favorite thing in the world. I could talk about it all day. I love it. It is great. I love it. It's fantastic. They always mention trains. There are some people who are really into trains. Sia did a really good interview with Louis Theroux. She came off really well, but it's kind of sad. Her consultation with, say, Autism Speaks in particular, strike 2. So she casts a neurotypical person to play an autistic person, strike 1. She consults with Autism Speaks on this movie, strike 2. Autism Speaks, for those of you who are unaware, is an organization that treats autism like something that needs to be cured, and heavily panders to the people who are, heavily panders to adults and carers, like parents and carers who make the autism problem all about themselves. So they think to themselves, I have to take care of this autistic kid and it's such a burden on my life. And thus as a result, like Autism Speaks, it's just like, don't worry, we're here for you, parents and carers. We're gonna get you through this. We're gonna find a cure and make your child normal. ABA, applied behavioral analysis, is a way that some people use to try to cure autism. Again, doesn't work. Internet is back. Autism Speaks. Fuck, go away. ABA is applied behavioral analysis, and that is a form of effective torture. Like you have the autistic kid sitting down with an ABA therapist, and their entire goal is to try to turn that autistic kid normal, get them into the habits what neurotypical people typically engage in. And as a result, what you have is kids who learn, like autistic people who learn to behave. Yeah, it's basically conversion therapy for autistic people. And I have experienced this to some extent. I don't think I've done ABA, but I have experienced this sensation as an autistic person that in order to be acceptable in society, I need to manipulate my behaviors actively so that people don't judge me based on my autistic behaviors. And that's what ABA is all about. Eventually, you manipulate and you abuse these autistic kids to the point where they shove away things that feel natural to them. And there was a good story about ABA. There was a good story about ABA that someone told about how, let me think for a second. Either their child or like their niece or nephew or a child of a friend or something had been through ABA. And they had been taught how to engage with someone, how to say hi, shake hands, all of that. But beyond that, they didn't understand the interaction. So they'd go up and they'd say hello, shake your hand, and then they'd walk off. Like they just didn't understand the social concept of the greeting. It didn't occur to them, it didn't apply to them. But they had built the habit into their head of like, okay, you go up, you say hello, you shake hands, and that was all they knew. They didn't know how to proceed from that point. The Green Book. Movies like The Green Book of Autism. I'm going to have to look up what The Green Book is. Didn't they also say something weird about the characters being prostitutes or something? I am not sure where we are right now. Classic Doctor Who, especially the 70s. You're going to have to refresh my memory about the prostitute thing. And you end up just being a twitching neurotic mess if you suppress your natural behavior. Yep. Absolutely. I have breakdowns. If I find myself trying too heavily to suppress and normalize, it hits me way later on, and I end up having breakdowns for it. And quite frankly, that is a factor of me learning over the years to suppress my autistic traits. I don't think I actually went through ABA at any point. Or at the very least, if I did, my mother might have trialed it with me as a kid because I was diagnosed very young. And I think she would have seen that it was a bad thing and moved away from that. Pam Delone, thank you for continuing the gift sub you got from Yarrow. How are you doing, by the way? What was I going to say? Where were we? Yeah, I think like culturally with regards to social scenarios, being around different groups of people, being in like school and university and work and all that sort of thing, I have specifically observed the behaviors of other people, either subconsciously or consciously. And that has helped me, perhaps in a negative way, to, I mean, you could argue positive, you could argue negative, all you want, all live long day. But it's definitely led to me putting on a mask of neurotypicality to try and suppress the most obviously autistic facets of me. And it's very, very emotionally and physically draining to do that. You're diagnosed super young, which weirdly made it take ages to properly accept it. The Amish have lower or non-existent rates of mental illness. They probably don't diagnose. When you have to, most people just deal with it. Yeah, that's not a good thing. That's explicitly a bad thing. Also, calling autism mental illness is a misnomer. It's a spectrum condition. It's not a mental illness. Diagnosed super young, which weirdly made it take ages to properly accept it. I can understand that. Especially if, like, you are told when you are younger, or told at an early age, or even, like, in your teens or something like that. Especially in your teens, actually. If you were told in your teens that you were autistic, after living your life as, you know, believing you're just a normal kid, perhaps a bit of a weird kid, you know, if you lived your life thinking, oh, I'm just a little bit different, and then you get told, hey, there's a thing that there's a reason you're different, and this is the reason you're different, it can have a huge psychological impact. Massive psychological impact. Okay, Demacia, I understand. The Amish don't report, diagnose it in many religious communities. Mental illness is seen as having a demonic cause rather than a health condition. Absolutely, Rena. Accept, no mask, only accept. Yes. Yes, Shay. Connor, thank you for that video. I'll see if I can give that a look later. Yeah, natural medicines. What do you define as natural medicines? I mean, marijuana is one thing. And there are... You're back for your bike ride. Hot. Well, at least you got your cardio in. Get your cardio in. It's time for our regularly scheduled, bi-minutely reminder to do your fucking cardio. Video won't make sense without seeing Green Book first. Let me look it up. Let me look up what Green Book is. Green Book. Viggo Mortensen, Mahershala Ali. Excuse me. 2018 biographical comedy drama buddy film about set in 1962. The film is inspired by the true story of a tour of the Deep South. Excuse me. By African-American classical and jazz pianist Don Shirley and Italian-American bouncer Frank Tony Lip Vallelonga, who served as Shirley's driver and bodyguard. The film was written by Farrelly, Brian Hayes Curry, and Vallelonga's son, Nick Vallelonga, based on interviews with his father and Shirley, as well as letters his father wrote to his mother. The film is named after the Spanish word for black motorist Green Book, a mid-20th century guidebook for African-American travelers written by Victor Hugo Green. Okay. So it's about racism. It's a bad movie. White savior dynamic. Oh, fuck. I feel like I have to watch it just to get the context, but I won't. I'm lazy. As a wise man once said, fuck the Oscars. Your fat ass can do cardio, you all can do it. Exactly. Exactly. It beat out Get Out and Black Klansman for that year. Ugh. Here we go. Sia didn't cast an autistic person as prostitutes or drug addicts, and that's precisely the problem. Okay, we'll look at that in a sec, because we're just talking like autism as a base concept at the moment. So some of the information, some of the characteristics of autistic people with regards to communication. Autistic people tend to communicate honestly and directly, have a dislike or difficulty with small talk, sarcasm, or understanding jokes. I'm slowly learning with the sarcasm. Repeating words or phrases in a way that can seem out of context. Yeah, I do that. Not using or understanding gestures like pointing. Using sounds, signs, gestures, or pictures to communicate instead of spoken words. I used to do that quite a lot. I've moved away from that. taking extra time to understand spoken information. This is one of my worst ones. This is one of my absolute worst ones. I do lectures at I don't do lectures. I'm not a lecturer. I listen to lectures. And when I've been in class, when I've been actually there physically, I listen as much as I possibly can with regards to the lectures. But taking that information in after the fact, you could ask me any question about anything we discussed in like just the last 5 minutes of what the lecturer was telling me, and I cannot retain it. It's such a wild thing. Social interactions, discomfort in busy, complex social situations. Oh, fuck yeah. Might prefer to play alone or next to others with more than with them. Yes, actually, that's a really really relevant one to me, actually. You know, if you hear me list off any of these particular autistic symptoms, I suppose you would call it, call them out. If I say something here that you feel resonates with you as an autistic person, if you are autistic, call it out. Let's talk about it. But yeah, might prefer to play alone or next to others more than with them. I used to do this with previous girlfriends. Eve Blue, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, chill out with us. I used to do this with previous partners, where like we'd be playing video games, but it would be like they'd play one game and I'd play another game. And I felt so comfortable doing that. And nowadays, more often than not, quite frankly, I much prefer to play a single-player game than a multiplayer game. I much prefer to be invested in one experience where I'm completely in control. How you doing, Heath Blue? How you going? An ability to pay attention without making eye contact. Have you noticed how infrequently I look at the camera? I'm doing well. I feel the same about single-player games, yeah. Using or responding to body language differently? Definitely. Social interactions are often misunderstood by non-autistic people. Yes. I like to play near people, but not with people, yeah. It's very, very awkward. It's very uncomfortable. Like, even if I'm playing Minecraft, for example, with my kids. Which I don't do too often, but when I do, it's more like I want to play in the world and build my own base, and they can live, like, next door or something. It's a really weird thing. It's like, don't touch my stuff. Happens in like, and this is why I don't do Minecraft multiplayer in general. You know, if anyone asks me, let's play Minecraft together, I'm like, no, bitch. I'm gonna build something and you're not gonna fucking touch it. Up yours, children. Leisure and play, preference for leisure based on passions. Honestly, I consider streaming to be one of my passions, and I spend a significant chunk of time on this. Thanks for the hydration, Fox. Don't touch my stuff. Now that's a language I speak. All the parents playing Animal Crossing with their kids. Non-traditional play, such as repetitive lining up of toys. I mean, this isn't really that good of an example of it, but I have lined up my plushy bullshit. Preferring to do things in the same way? Abso-fucking-lutely. My schedule? If my schedule gets fucked up at all, it is hugely stressful. You have no idea the level of anxiety I go through if my schedule is fucked up in any way. Now, of course, my schedule does change sometimes and I move things around a bit myself, but I need to be in control of that. And if for some reason, if I can't get to the gym one morning, for example, or if I can't, let's just say my internet went out tomorrow and I couldn't stream tomorrow night, if anything goes wrong, if anything at all. And what's another good example? I don't know. I have a very rigid thing with routine. I love to do things exactly the same every single week, I suppose. Like the schedule changes day to day, but I have a general weekly layout, and it's like, don't fuck up my schedule. Comfortable socializing through technology such as phones, video conferencing, or online chats and games. That's fairly obvious, that one. For the US folks here, Kelly Loeffler just got forced to sell her WNBA team to a consortium, including a player in that team that Loeffler refused to meet to address racist issues. Lol. Lol. Fucker. She's the idiot who said to Reverend Warnock, will you denounce Marxism and socialism? Like, this is just like a non-question. What did I miss, Shay? Savior. Oh, hang on. Savior complex feeds into the white conservative and liberal ideas. Through personal action, you can ignore the social categorizations that you are forced into by societal systems, ignoring how materially systemic changes needed to enable that. I understand. Yeah. Anyway, anyone who cares for Leffler is German for Spooner? Wait. What? Am I missing something here? I don't know what I'm looking at. Big spoon or little spoon? You gonna head to bed, Fox? Have a good one. Have a good rest. Logged into FF14 to guild members bitching about COVID. Oh, great. Great. Unable to pay rent, waiting on your $1,400 check that might never come. Yeah, that's a whole situation. I'm so sorry that America's going through that fucking bullshit, dude. What a mess. What an absolute mess. Just give the people their fucking money, Biden. Jesus. Need to sleep, so you switch to lurking. It's wonderful to be here. It's wonderful to have you here, Sonny. Wonderful and interesting to listen to. Thank you so kindly. Have a fun lurk. Have a good sleep. Let's talk about sensory issues. Now, this is like one of the big ones for me personally. Sensory issues with autism. Being constantly aware or more aware of some sensations. Sound, smells, taste, touch. Most definitely. Especially touch. Feeling distressed or overwhelmed if there are too many sensations at once. Loud noises, lots of touching, bright lights. Hate being in supermarkets. Or like shopping centers and stuff like that. Despite the fact that I'm there regularly, routinely. But... it definitely can overwhelm me if I'm like out in a big flashy area too much. Working hard to avoid distress by covering ears, hiding in quiet places, etc. to block out sensations. I do that sometimes. Discomfort with touch, such as materials of clothes, tags, or light touch from others. Definitely an occasional thing. Congress being full of Republican cunts who are like, but my deficit, but the deficit. As if America isn't loaded. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Amazon made billions, but taxing them is hard. Can someone explain why the 15 minimum wage in the US is bad? It's only 19 per hour in Australia. Yeah, true. It is. $15 minimum is bad because it will lead to less poor people. You can't have less poor people. Capitalism explicitly is built on the system of certain people in society being disenfranchised and being unable to have any sort of social mobility. If we start giving them a reasonable, livable wage, which $15 isn't even it. Honestly, it would need to be up to $25 to even match how minimum wage was when minimum wage was first introduced by account of inflation. Right? Minimum wage should be 25, not 15. And yeah, the issue there is, you know, poor people. Capitalism's got to have its poor people. Otherwise, the rich people can't feel superior to them. Seeking sensory experiences by smelling food, flicking fingers in front of lights, not noticing internal sensations like hunger or pain. I mean, I notice those. You now unpick tags from new clothes almost immediately. Had so many meltdowns where the tags in new clothes have been the thing that finally made you break down. That's so awful to hear. Republicans act like it's too much, even though it's meant to be gradual and only for federal workers. It's not meant to be applied to all just federal workers, which is stupid. It should be applied to everyone. Don't know what the living wage is in America, but it's more than $15. Well, yeah. The more you pay your workers, the less they have to work for you to survive. Pretty much. That's the reason there's such a huge hustle culture in America. You gotta work several jobs. You gotta be hustling all the time. You gotta be doing stuff that'll get you money all the time. And if you don't do that, if you don't spend every waking hour trying to make money, then you're going to end up broke and homeless or living in a really low income slum Or something like that. Didn't even know that about the federal workers. Felt normal when you got $600 a week unemployment, but they kicked you off. You make pizzas for a living, if you wonder. Part of why you have kidney problems. You don't drink because you don't feel thirst. Well, yeah. I don't really... I mean, I suppose I feel when my mouth is kind of dry, like after drinking soda just now. But I don't know if I have a specific pang for thirst or whatever it is, like hunger. I feel hunger. When your sleep schedule gets disrupted, you border on narcoleptic, you die in the US. Ugh. It's also looking like the frankly revolting Joe Manchin is blocking a rise in minimum wage from the UK government of £4.75 an hour to as a power move. It's also likely this piece of shit will block Puerto Rico and Washington DC becoming states too. Jesus Christ. Mouth is always dry. When a hydrate is redeemed, it's not just for me. True. Everyone has to hydrate when I hydrate. If you've got water, you should have water at your desk or wherever you are. You should have water on you. Get your hydration in. Have no job, and some people have upwards of 4. They are my true enemies. I'm trying to make myself drink 2.7 liter of water per day. It's hard sometimes to drink water. Tea works. Is it black tea at least? Federal minimum wage is $7.50 an hour, which makes you nauseous. Most states have a minimum wage higher than that, which overrides it, but still. Yeah, $15 an hour is the start of living wage. It needs to be higher than that. There's actually a day coming up. We'll get back to autism in a sec. Where is it? 8 hours day. There is a holiday in Australia, in Tasmania. 8 hours day celebrates the achievements of workers and their struggles for an 8-hour workday. On April 21, 1856, workers marched through the streets of Melbourne demanding an 8-hour working day. What they wanted with that 8-hour working day was the capacity to, have 8 hours work, 8 hours rest, 8 hours recreation. 8 hours labor, 8 hours recreation, 8 hours rest. And they wanted to be able to live off that. They wanted 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. And they wanted to be able to live off that, which is entirely understandable, in my personal opinion. I think that's an entirely reasonable viewpoint. Never black, that shit is way too bitter unless you run out of bovine juice. Third highest minimum wage in Australia, but it might have gone down now, possibly. 1.5 litre bottle of water, that's a good start. Excuse me. Teeth are falling out, well that's not good. Can't get dental care though. Why the hell, it baffles me that dental and optical is not covered by universal healthcare. It's not covered by Medicare here in Australia. If you have to get dental work, you're on your own. Fuck yeah. Past public holidays in April would be amazing. System only works if there's a non-working partner. The system should be that a person working at minimum wage, full-time, should be able to live independently. End of discussion. That's the way it should work. If you work 8 hours a day, you're in fact spending closer to 12 hours between preparing, commuting, and actual work. So you get at most 4 to 5 hours off rest time. Well, arguably, yes. Depending on where your work is located and so. They won't even give you pain meds, Jesus. In Germany, heavy industry workers have a minimum 30-hour working week, and it's actually been pushed by unions for health and safety reasons. That sounds good. That sounds good. We keep going with the autism thing. We got a few more bits. We got a couple more bits with autism, or we can keep going on socialist dystopia. How do you feel? Do we want to continue? There's like 2 more sections about autism, and then we can move on to something else if you want. Although we didn't actually touch on the Kate Hudson thing. There's more about this. There's more about the autism stuff. The system should be that the workers own their work and nobody profits off of anyone's work. Well, yeah, it's communism. You're bad, didn't mean it, bro. It's all good. So with regards to autistic thinking, there's an uneven pattern of thinking abilities, an ability to focus on one thing for a very long time, difficulty switching from one thing to another, an ability to notice specific details, patterns, or changes that other people are unaware of. Autistic utopia. Yes, please. With experiencing and displaying emotions, this one's a really, really big one for me. A strong, sometimes overwhelming emotional connection to others. Well, no. Repeating movements such as flapping hands or pacing around to show excitement or to help cope with stress. Yes. Delay in learning to understand and regulate emotions. Definitely. Difficulties understanding how non-autistic people think in some situations, just as non-autistic people have difficulty understanding autistic people. Rather than thinking of the autism spectrum as a line, it is more like a constellation. We already covered that bit. Are they that bad? You're talking about Medicaid. Won't go to the dentist because you're 32. You don't want dentures. They'll just pull all your teeth. Yeah, it's kind of the really terrifying thing, isn't it? You don't want to be in that situation where they have to... I'm honestly terrified of them pulling my teeth. They've already removed 2 wisdom teeth. And I try my best to take care of my teeth. We just ignore the fact that I just drank this cherry coke, please. Anyways. There are a few things, honestly, that I personally believe every human should have access to as a right. And we're at a situation now, as a society, that this should not be a problem. Everybody should have access to shelter, food, water, power, healthcare, a cat. What else is there? I would say to some extent guarantee of employment. Like a guarantee of having a place in society, and universal basic income, obviously, on top of all of that. So, but, you know, the reality of the situation, we live in a capitalist dystopia. We live in the ruins of society, and the only way that our society really operates is that certain people have got everything and certain people have got nothing. And there are far more people that have nothing than there are people that have something. Or when I say nothing, I mean there's far too many poor people in the world. You all have to hydrate as well, for the record. If you rinse your mouth after having sugar, you can stay off those sugar bugs. True. True you can. Oh, Unicorn, I miss you. You gonna lurk and try to sleep? You have school, you gotta submit a TFN. Do bloods, come home, chill. I'm sorry I missed you there. That was 2 minutes ago. Oh, there you are. Okay, you're still here. Have a good one. Gotta love a life balance. Your boss is lucky you don't have a social life. If you've been overstimulated, brain shuts down, you can't understand anything. Like the conversation we were having earlier, you just can't process anything else. Yeah, I get like that. I definitely have the issue of like there comes a certain point with regards to stimulation where my brain just turns off and I need to just daydream in Abbeyland for a bit and sort of come back down. Get 2,000 AUD/CAD every month since the pandemic began, and you want to keep going forever. Yeah, that'd be nice. That would be nice, and they could do that. They could do that. We live in a post-scarcity society. Again, for what reason do the billionaires need to have as much billions and billions of dollars as they do have? You know, why is there no move to give all the people at the ground level the opportunity to perhaps move out of their current situation? You know, buy themselves the resources they need to start improving their own lives. We don't need a society where people are forced into poverty. Oh my god, more pushings. Look at the pushings. Look at the pushings. I'll tell you something. Capitalists at this point, the risks that capitalists take are nowhere near the risks that impoverished people take nowadays. That was a tonal shift, yeah. Someone like Jeff Bezos has billions upon billions of dollars. No risk he could take could even closely compare to someone who is to someone who lives paycheck to paycheck with scarcely enough money to cover the cost of their basic cost of living. Nothing, no risk he could take would even compare to that. And there are so many people who live that life. You gotta head out quite tired and need sleep. I'm quite tired as well, honestly. Have a good one, Pam. And yes, indeed, as Emmy said, please don't hate yourself. If risk meets reward, then Daredevil should be the real billionaires. I haven't thought about a Daredevil in a minute. Are they still around? They still do the Daredevil thing these days? They're like the motorcyclists that jump over ravines? Or like flaming hoops or whatever? Anyway. Shall we now, we have a bit more of a broader understanding of autism. We can keep revisiting that, we can keep discussing that if you like. Still wearing all white, red and blue. White with blue and red stripes. The only thing, blah 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 blah, you can tell I'm tired. The only thing super rich people risk is having a little less money if a thing goes wrong, pretty much. You have $30 in your bank account, get paid next week, and still have to pay your phone bill, plus that means you can't afford to pay on your medical debt, so yay interest. Yeah, that's pretty much how it works. It's like, I've said this numerous times in the past. Like, I don't live in a situation where I can save. I don't have the kind of income to be able to efficiently and effectively save money. Because there's always some other big expense coming up that I need to cover first. So saving is virtually impossible, which means I have no safety net. If everything collapses out from under me tomorrow, I can't do anything. I'm fucked. And there's a lot of people in the same boat. A lot of people in the same boat. Especially amidst a pandemic. Especially amidst lockdowns. We don't do song requests here, Veggie. I just listen to stream beats. You have an odd mental power that you assumed everyone else has. That you assumed for years everyone could hear in color, but how people can't do that probably explains why rap is so popular. Maybe. Getting sad, you should excuse yourself. You're free to feel sad. You know, sometimes it's good to feel sad, even if you're reflecting on the bad things in your life. But sometimes sadness is good. Yesterday was a very sad day for me, honestly. And letting that emotion out, even if it's about things that are outside of your control, is beneficial. It hurts to be in that moment of misery. But knowing you have that control, knowing you have that ability to express that sadness is good. It's good for you. Just hope that things improve, Still need to pee. You love your kittens, but they have to leave tomorrow. Hello, recreational nukes. How you doing? Your pay never changed during lockdown. You're so essential that you make less than 9. Yeah, I know. What's the deal with essential workers not getting pay rises during a pandemic? Like, what's the deal there?
Welcome to the Rogue Room.
Arizona Ranger, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us. Where am I from? I'm from Australia. And yeah, I do agree with Reverend Dell. Please stay. You have been a wonderful participant in chat. What is that supposed to be? I can't make that out. Emotions are always valid. What was I gonna... Hang on. Your pain... Oh yeah, I read that. The pain never changing. Anyway, shall we talk about Kate Hudson's response to... Well, kind of response to the criticisms of music by Sia? Kate Hudson has waded into the debate surrounding her controversial new film, Music. When was this published? This was like back in February. This was like more than 2 weeks ago. Oh no, actually less than 2 weeks ago, sorry. Because February is one of them short months. So just under 2 weeks ago, 12 days ago. Music, which stars Hudson and Maddie Ziegler, was written and directed by the musician Sia and revolves around a recovering addict who becomes a carer for her autistic half-sister. Over the past few months, Sia has been condemned for casting the neurotypical Ziegler as a neurodivergent character and for including scenes in which an autistic character is restrained in a physical position that has led to injuries and even death in reality. Can we, not post that shit in chat, though? Anyway. The film has been nominated for 2 Golden Globes. I don't think it won either of those. Did the Golden Globes already happen? Did they already happen? It also stars Leslie Odom Jr. Yes, it does. What up, Lucid? How's it going? I do have a nice bow. But yeah, I do have a nice bow, don't I? It is a nice bow. The Globes happened, and I'm pretty sure the movie didn't win any awards, which is good. That's a good thing. The film has been nominated for 2 Golden Globes, including Best Actress in a Comedy or Musical for Hudson, and a Change.org petition calling for these to be rescinded has now been signed by more than 95,000 people. It also urges the entertainment industry to create a more inclusive workspace for neurodivergent people. It's not just the neurodivergence thing. I mean, that's the main problem with this movie. But there is a scene in particular where she is quite clearly in makeup that makes her skin, like the character of Music played by Maddie Ziegler, is wearing a bunch of heavily tanned-looking makeup that kind of feels blackfacey. Some people have said. Hard to say. It's a bit weird. How am I feeling today? Tired. It's like nearly midnight. I'm exhausted. How are you guys feeling today? How are you folks feeling today? I have to remember a friend of mine's Twitter username at the moment is set to guys isn't gender inclusive or something like that. Guys isn't gender neutral. There we go. Witch Cass. Their username is guys isn't gender neutral. I got to stop using guys. Folks is gender neutral. Anyway, speaking about the controversy, Hudson said during an appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live, "For me, when I hear that there's anybody that feels left out, I feel terrible." She added, "I think when people see the film, they will see the amount of love and sensitivity that was put into it, but it is an important conversation to have, not just about this movie, but as a whole about representation." Like that's a hand wave and a half. That is an absolute hand wave and a half. It's an important conversation to have. You're going to have a conversation about autism in this art piece, this alleged art piece by Sia, and not include an autistic person to play the major autistic character in your movie. If you're going to do that, you don't deserve to be a part of the conversation. If I'd have just crawled up my shelves, she's probably just in her enclosure right there. Like, that's Vess. You might have seen her crawling up the side of her enclosure. Where is she? Is she in there? I mean, yes, she's in there. She can't get out of it. Because of the truly shit UK government, you doubt will be getting a pay raise until they're out of office with their frankly bizarre management, especially of the UK economy. Yeah. Sadly. She is a pretty girl. She's a pretty girl. Friends is also gender neutral. Yes, it is. Really need to see the promising young woman. You really need to see promising young woman. You've heard really good things. And we always support gender fluid people, we do. Kate Hudson wasn't that bad? What do you mean? What have I missed? Anyway. Let's come back to this. The actor who said that nobody has really asked her about the debate so far said, "I think it's an ongoing important dialogue to be had about neurotypical actors portraying neurodivergent characters and people who are experts and really know how to engage in the conversation. I encourage it really and truly just to say we are listening." If they're listening, why didn't they cast a neurodivergent person to play a neurodivergent character? Like, we've had numerous movies over the years that portray neurodivergent people played by neurotypical actors. And they've never considered that neurodivergent people could be, good for these roles, right? Just because someone is an actor, just because someone is a good actor, doesn't mean they should be playing the role of someone who has this particular disability or what have you. Neurodivergent refers to, generally speaking, autistic people, or people with ADHD, or there's anything that falls outside the spectrum of normal, psychologically normal people. Music even had bad music videos littered throughout it. Bad music videos by Sia. You were genuinely surprised. There's no heterosexual excuse for how Sam and Frodo interacted. I have not seen that movie, Bazooki. No, I haven't. Carrie Mulligan stars as a woman who seeks to avenge her best friend, who's a victim of that. Bo Burnham, Alison Brie, Clancy Brown, Jennifer Coolidge, Laverne Cox, and Connie Britton. There you go. And she goes out and acts trashed and waits for a good guy to come help. And yes, Vess is a pretty girl. I don't have any pictures up to show of her at the moment. Yeah, no, the concept of normal is a weird thing. But I think, generally speaking, based on the definitions we have for autism, there are very specific ways that people might be neurodivergent or neurotypical. There are autistic actors around, yes. Quite a few of them actually criticized Sia for this particular endeavor. It very much seems like she didn't consult, didn't audition many autistic actors, and especially for the role of Music, the protagonist here. This is Music. This is Maddie Ziegler, who is a neurotypical performer. She's a dancer mostly, and the weird issue with this particular situation is that Sia has been collaborating with Maddie Ziegler for years now, to an almost creepy degree. And do we want to specifically bring up the point? Like, Maddie Ziegler has appeared in a number of Sia's different music videos, right? And on Sia's Instagram page, Sia only follows... And I mean, I don't know how Sia uses Instagram, don't get me wrong. But Sia only follows Maddie Ziegler. Which is really creepy considering they've been working together since Ziegler was like 12. Really... You know, just like, make your own inferences there, if you will. Anyway, earlier this month, Sia apologized for some of the content in Music, writing in a statement, "I listened to the wrong people, read Autism Speaks, and that is my responsibility. My research was clearly not thorough, not wide enough. I'm sorry." In the wake of the controversy, Jane Harris from the National Autistic Society told Newsround, "Many people learn about what life is like for autistic people through films and TV shows. So they need to be realistic so people can really understand the challenges autistic people face and the contribution they can make to our society." Harris also urged all TV and film companies to consult autistic people in the writing process so that the stories they tell explain well what it's like to be autistic. This will help create a society that works for the 1 in 100 of us that are autistic. In its review of the film, which also stars Leslie Odom Jr., The Independent called Music a colossal failure. This has got one of the worst, this movie has been so critically review bombed, it's worse than Cats. This has got a 9 critic score and a 14 audience score. Cats has got 19 tomato meter, 53% audience score. Imagine your movie being that much worse. I mean, yeah, maybe Cats wasn't review bombed, it was just bad. But Jesus Christ. Critic consensus. Offensive in its depiction of autism and painfully misguided in essentially every respect, sorry. Music is a vanity project that begs to be turned down. Oh, fuck. Stop hating what? Stop hating Sia's shit movie? No. He flagrantly misrepresented autistic people. I'm gonna continue hating this until it just disappears. You'd say sometimes making a character neurodivergent as long as it's subtly done can work. Your favorite Star Trek characters is the main character of your favorite TNG episode, The Nth Degree. Reginald Barclay was an attempt to be inclusive with writers on the show wanting a lead that wasn't perfect, like say Riker or Picard. The Nth Degree trailer. Have a look at this. I am Australian, yes. Is it playing? No, it's not.
A bizarre accident turns man into machine.
Lieutenant, you are probably the most advanced human being who ever lived.
A new power takes command of the Enterprise.
How do we get him out of there? We don't. Not without killing him.
And he's sending the crew on a death mission.
We are in danger.
Remove yourself from the computer system. And we have lost computer control.
12 seconds to critical.
Mind Trap on the next exciting episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Dude. Honestly, at some point I actually have to watch TNG. I've watched like a few episodes of it over the years when it's been on television, but everything I've seen of Star Trek: The Next Generation has been absolutely phenomenal, and I really need to watch the whole thing. Because I've heard many, many, many good things. He's not, he just went and looked. He should do that before saying something, but all of his characters have come across as hitting close to home in regard to autism. I do, if you're talking about Jim Parsons, I do know he's at least He's at least gay. There's that. Anyway. But I think he's just portrayed perhaps autistic people, which, again, speaks to the issue of if this speaks to the issue of having neurotypical people portraying neurodivergent characters. If you don't, Jim Parsons isn't insalvageable. There we go. Tried to do a gay episode, but it ended up being a trans episode. Do tell. I want to hear about that. Sheldon is a fine character, but his portrayal of having autism is hardly nuanced or detailed. Yeah, what I've seen of his portrayal of autism is very, very surface level, very, very, what's the phrase? Very, very sitcom, honestly, just very sitcom. It fits the sitcom model of not going too deep on things. They do the surface level and that's it. Do we need autistic villains? I think there's if you do autistic characters, then yes, there's room to do autistic villains too. Yeah, and I don't think that's a bad thing. It depends on the portrayal of it. Riker dates a what? Intersex / monogender alien? I mean, that's kind of neat. What TNG clip did you miss? We watched the trailer for The Nth Degree. What Overwatch merch? I've got Farah down there. That's about it. Is it confirmed the character has autism, or is it one of those audiences found it out or whatever? I mean, there is that idea as well of like people do psychoanalyze characters from various types of fiction. They say this character has autism based on these particular facets of their personality, of their portrayal, without it being explicitly stated in the work. And based on how Sheldon operates within the Big Bang Theory, yes, he definitely seems like he comes across as, like you said, autism coded, Connor. Abed from Community and Jermaine from Flight of the Conchords. I know Flight of the Conchords is, those two characters are based on the two guys from the band Flight of the Conchords. So Jermaine is Jermaine, and what's the other guy's name? I've forgotten. Jermaine and the other guy. Like, that's just like them inserting themselves into a comedy sort of thing. So you could argue those two particular characters, at the very least, are just Brett, that's it, yeah, Brett. Jermaine and Brett is just a comedic take on themselves. It's just a piss take of themselves. So it's not even so much a character as it is a fictionalized version of themselves. One of the most groundbreaking moments in Deep Space Nine. Free this lesbian kisses were watershed. Didn't you already follow me, G Floyd 221? I'm almost certain you did. Did you know none can't destroy iron, but its own rust can? Likewise, none can't destroy the person, but his own mindset can. How did you remember Brett Becerra? Fuck all hell. The trailer. What's the trailer? Promising Young Woman. I'll give that a look later. Gilbert Grape was dreamy though. I've heard. I have seen bits of Rain Man. I have not seen anything of What's Eating Gilbert Grape. I've heard criticisms of the portrayal of autism in those as well. I'd need to watch them myself to get a broader understanding. I've heard like good things about Gilbert Grape. Don't get me wrong. And yes, I have heard about Dax being canonically trans. That name rings a bell. Lenny in Of Mice and Men. Again, another, like, I'm really bad with, media in general. Ask me if I've watched a movie and I'll tell you probably not 98% of the time. I'm really bad with movies. I'm really bad with shows. I'm really bad with all this sort of stuff. I don't give myself the time to relax and watch these things. And a part of me feels like that's honestly an autistic thing I do. It's like I can't focus on watching a thing, like a TV series or a movie. Like, I'm going to go watch Mortal Kombat. I'm going to force myself to watch the new Mortal Kombat movie. But just generally speaking, I don't watch shows. I don't watch movies. I don't really look forward to a new album coming out by a band. I don't read books. I mean, I do read some books. I've actually got my sociology textbook in. And I cannot consume even video games, which is like the thing that I have, the form of media, the medium that I have devoted the most time to. I still don't feel the compulsion to do it. I don't feel the dedication to it. I don't. There's something about I think I just lack interest in it. Hello, Stormy. How's it going? Gotten worse with age for you? That's understandable, honestly. Read books, but you don't feel the need to read, watch, or do anything except watch people doing things on stream. That's an idea too. I like doing this. And quite frankly, I think consuming said media would help me in this circumstance. The Bee Movie is better than Ants. Ants is better than Bugs Life. The coincidence. Yes, the coincidence, but I mean specifically to pronounce it, the coincidence of A Bug's Life and Ants will always honestly blow my mind. 2 separate movies about ant colonies released in such a short time frame to each other. Struggle to get into games nowadays except old ones. Yeah, I feel that too. Honestly, there are quite a few older games where I'm like, I would like to play this game that I've already played to death, you know? Gotta leave. If you can bring yourself to watch a movie, please watch August Rush. It's an older movie, but you love it and speaks to your autism. I'll give it a look. I'll try. Can read an article online, but when you sit down with your book, your mind wanders, and you have to yeah, I do that a lot too, Emmy. My mind wanders. I have to reread the page several times. One of the best films for autism and Down syndrome too is the semi-sci-fi movie K-Pax. Unfortunately, it being a film linked to Kevin Spacey, most people are now put off. Understandable. The coincidence? You haven't seen X is pretty common, yeah. Yeah. People ask me, have you watched this show? Have you watched this movie? No, I haven't. Even though it's not about autism or even stated that he's autistic. Again, like you can interpret if a character is autistic or may have facets of autism based on how they behave in a certain movie. Play Spyro again and again. Have you played the remake? Klingons say trans rights, and if you don't support trans rights, they say betle. I'm assuming that's a war cry, knowing what I know of the Klingons. Prefer to do social things than read books on your own, and ADHD means what focus? Yeah, I mean, I think I get what you mean. I think I get where you're coming from. I'm a little tired, sorry. Jadzia was hot. Spots all over her face. Star Trek TNG. Can we not, like, can I just, like, maybe don't refer to me as bro or man? I feel like that should be kind of common sense, but I know what you're trying to do, so just, like, don't. Spots went all the way down on Jadzia. Even single-player games, you get distracted without rereading the same page 5 times. Yeah, I could play single-player games for quite a while. I mean, I did get through, after all, what's it called? Horizon Zero Dawn's a good example. Spider-Man. I didn't 100% Spider-Man. Obviously all the Dark Souls games, but there's also a fun multiplayer element to that. I think I really like the multiplayer in Dark Souls. For some reason. I don't know. Yeah, both bro and man. That's not unintentional. That's not a slip-up. That's intentional. Yeah, but why did you use specifically masculine terminology if you're trying to be nice? Curious. Anyway, it's got to be a Spyro. Yeah, that's right. They're going to do a Spyro 4. They've already done Crash 4. Has anyone played Crash 4? What did you think of it? I mean, I've played bits and pieces of Crash Remake, and it's just Crash Remake. It's Crash Bandicoot, but it's prettier. So if you've played the Crash Bandicoot classics, it's just Crash Bandicoot, but it's prettier. And that's perfect. Same with Spyro. What I've played of Spyro, it's the same fucking game, but prettier. I love that. But I have not played Crash 4. I have not played... I haven't played the Crash Team Racing remake. I could only play HCD because you were talking to a friend about your experience, and then we had a falling out. Oh, that sucks. HCD is well worth finishing. I've got to play the DLC for it. Horizon Zero Dawn is amazing. Quite frankly, it's phenomenal. Was it Kang who said Curzon, my old friend, and then when Jadzia says I'm Jadzia now, he responds with Jadzia, my old friend. I've seen that as a meme. I've seen that as a meme template. So yes, I do recall that. You use dude for everyone, but is that even legit? That's a point of contention that has been brought up on numerous occasions, actually. I just kicked my microphone stand, sorry. That is a point of contention that I and other trans folks have had discussions on, and just us in chat have had discussions on numerous occasions. Like, is dude gender neutral? And some people are like yes, some people are no, some people are sort of like iffy on the subject. I guess it's honestly cultural, personal preference, perhaps. Ultimately, if somebody says, please don't refer to me as dude, respect that. That'd be the best way to go about it, but yeah. I'm iffy on it, honestly. I'm honestly iffy on it. It's a tricky one. Yeah, account created 1 hour ago. Oh my god. Would I be okay? It's really tricky, because I feel like, no. I say dude a lot. So I feel like it would be hypocritical of me to say that I'm not comfortable with it. It's like, I don't know. No mods in. Well, can I trust you, Sammy? I'll give you mod privileges. Hang on. Let me look that up, actually. How are you, bro? Because I've heard that before. I don't think there's any actual evidence to suggest that. I believe that's just a meme. It's... Cowboys claim this is some sort of higher ground, but really isn't actually creating a word specifically for donkey dick, and what that infers about you much more embarrassing than unknowingly using it for something else. I don't know. Yahoo Answers? Does Yahoo Answers have the answer? It's a common joke about slang that appeared some time ago. Everyone knows the word dude. We use it for guys all the time. The dictionary says it's for a guy that pays a lot of attention to his appearance. That's an old-timey reference. Have you guys seen... I mean, I highly doubt you haven't seen Back to the Future 3, but just to be throwing it out there. I feel like everyone's seen the Back to the Future trilogy. But if you haven't seen Back to the Future 3, at some point, Marty is confronted by the villain, Buford Tannen. And Buford calls him a duded up, egg-sucking gutter trash. He specifically uses the phrase dude in that circumstance. And back in ye olden days, dude was, as is referenced here, a person that pays a lot of attention to their appearance. Someone who is very, very fancy. Because Marty was done up in a kooky, colorful cowboy outfit. And nowadays it has just become common nomenclature just to refer to people in general. Where's your slunt at? Some groups of women call themselves guys. Yeah, that's another one. We did discuss the guys isn't gender neutral thing. I think that one specifically because that has a very masculine leaning. But again, like the dude thing is very complicated. But I think guys is definitely guys definitely leans masculine, and thus if it was either a trans person or just someone feminine presenting in general says I don't like the term guys, don't refer to me as that. Generally speaking, if someone says don't refer to me as XYZ, then just don't do it as a respect thing. If your brother's coming back giving shit, we're gonna ban. We'll test the waters. We'll see if they can improve themselves. But they're an account created 1 hour ago, so it's quite clear they hit a troll. If you're unsure about a term, you can use it in the context of do you sleep with and see if it refers to a specific gender. The token guy in a group of women in the group refers to itself and everyone within the group as guys. Well, there you go. It depends on the social circle you're in, really. Yeah, he's 1 hour old. Not against guys becoming neutral, just don't feel it is right now. Yeah, like, I think I agree with that, Del. Like, I think the idea of guys being gender neutral is a good one. However, as it currently stands, it doesn't... It feels like it almost is. It feels like it's almost gender neutral, but it's not quite there yet. I think there is still the very... If I say, look at that guy, what's the first thing you're going to think? Similarly, if I say, look at that dude, what's the first thing that pops into your head? If you're facing away from a person, and I say to you, and the person's behind you, look at that guy, look at that dude, what are you going to think? Who are you thinking I'm going to point at? Hello, Cass. How's it going? Like, give me the, yes, like, honestly, you've come up a couple of times regarding your username on Twitter at the moment. We are discussing, like, is dudes gender neutral? And yeah, like, I'm specifically of the mind of guys isn't, but dudes is a very complicated one. Singular of these sounds less gender neutral. It does. So then why does the plural seemingly become gender neutral, arguably, among certain social groups? Guy is definitely male. Certainly. You're an influencer. It happened. You have to influence people. No, never use the term skur to a female native of the Americas, as it's a universal term for cunt, particularly a yikes term when used in older cowboy movies. The language is fucking weird. No, don't apologize, Jeff. This is a good topic. This is a good topic to talk about. The whole generic default male writing style from the last century, yes. Etymology is interesting. Like, what's the origin of guys? Let's talk about, like... Not with a slash. The origin of the word guy. Little known fact, well, it's probably a fact. Guy, meaning fellow, these days sometimes even including gals, stems from Guy Fawkes of English gunpowder plot, November 5th, 1605 fame. Guy Fawkes produced Guy Fawkes Day, which featured burning effigies of him called guys. The Oxford English Dictionary gives as the first definition of guy an effigy of Guy Fawkes traditionally burnt on the evening of November the 5th, usually with a display of fireworks. New cute dress, yes indeed. I'll show the picture on Twitter. I'm not standing up again. I'm lazy. Or I'm lazy. Here's the dress. If you have not yet seen it, here's the dress. I fucking love it. It's cute as hell. It's cute as hell. Are you folks gonna make me stand up so you can see the dress in action? It's so cute. I love it. And look at my dumb grin on my face. You can tell I'm in love with myself in this thing. Heck. Anyway. What am I missing? You will like my Twitter. Go like my Twitter. Totally not what you expected. Standing up is cardio, and I did my cardio today, so I'm like, eh. Looking in the mirror going, can I fuck myself? God made a golem, literally, if you take the Bible that way. It's exactly the same as the golem ritual. Make it out of clay, then breathe life into it. Wait, what? What have I missed? It's difficult to say that a good cuss should roll off the tongue. Well, yeah, that's true. What does the golem have to do with anything? I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. The figure is habited in grotesquely ragged and ill-assorted garments, whence sense 2, and was formerly accompanied by other similar effigies representing unpopular persons, to which the name of guys is often given by extension. That in turn produced guy in the sense of a person of grotesque appearance, especially with reference to dress, a fright. And this in turn developed in the US into just a man, fellow. The Oxford English Dictionary notes that the earliest examples may be influenced by sense 2, which is to say, person of grotesque appearance, meaning, which in turn flows from Guy Fawkes. The name Guy, as it turns out, is the Norman French analogue of the Italian name Guido or Guido. Apparently Guy Fawkes himself went by Guido Fawkes back in the day. So you guys, you rebels, that's where your name comes from. Probably. There you go. That's from the Washington Post, if you want to read that whole thing. You went preachy because Reverend. Someone mentioned Adam from Genesis. Oh, okay. Have a good one, Del. Wait, are you leaving? Who's leaving? So Guy in English comes from the French Guy, which is the French form of the Italian and German Guido, with Spanish Guido coming from the Italian Guido. Yes, there you go. To summarize, basically. Thanks for engaging with your comments so much. New to the community, but it's cool and chatty. Oh, it's 12:48 a.m. Okay. 11:49 p.m. for me. So it's Left that's leaving. Left the Abyss. Have a good one. Thank you so kindly for being here with us tonight. Welcome to the community. Like golems need a Hebrew word inscribed upon them. Yes. Fuck all of Europe and its weirdness. Now, what about the origin of dudes? We're just doing etymology now. Yeah, fuck it, BBC.com. I don't really care about the specific. I'm not doing like full-blown research tonight. The surprising history of the word dude. Excuse me. Many common terms in English have unexpected roots. Kelly Grovier explores the origins of 7 words coined in art history, including the political meanings of silhouette and picturesque, and how mobile became mob. The term gimp has changed a lot, as does the term slut, to which gimp was a person who was lame and would limp, and slut was anyone who basically didn't bathe and lived in their filth. Yes, my mother described the term slut to me when I was younger as a slovenly woman, which was meant to mean a woman who didn't take care of themselves. And now it's of course evolved to a promiscuous woman, generally speaking. Let's scroll through this. Let's see. I want to find the word dude. This is just going through a bunch of different... Here we go. We can't use gimp anymore. Dude. Before there was bro, there was dude. The informal address that slaps you on the back with one hand, gives you a white Russian with the other, and says, hey, I woke up at noon too, man. For the past 20 years, Jeff Bridges' portrayal of the dude in the Coen Brothers film The Big Lebowski has epitomized the seductive spirit of dudeness. Disheveled, stoned, and disorientated, the dude's laid-back attitude is difficult to square with the artsy origin of the word itself, which seems to have entered into the popular discourse in the 1880s as shorthand for a foppishly turned-out male followers of the aesthetic movement, a short-lived artistic vogue that championed superficial fashion and decadent beauty, art for art's sake, and was associated with ostentatiously attired artists such as James McNeill Whistler and Dante Gabriel Rossetti. It's thought that dude is an abbreviation of doodle in Yankee Doodle and probably refers to the newfangled dandy that the song describes. Occasionally sung in the late 18th century by British soldiers keen to lampoon the American colonists with whom they were at war, the ditty by the end of the 19th century had been embraced in the US as a patriotic anthem. By then, an indigenous species of fastidiously overstyled popinjays had emerged in America to rival the British dandy, and it is to this new breed of primly dressed aesthetes that the term dude was attached. Over time, the silk cravats and tapered trousers, varnished shoes, and stripy vests worn by such proponents of the trend as Evander Berry Wall, the New York City socialite who was dubbed King of the Dudes, would be stripped away, leaving little more than a countercultural attitude to define what it means to be a dude, or an El Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing. Show us a picture of King of the Dudes. Let's see if we can find one. Evander Berry Wall. Let's have a look at this King of the Dudes. Is this the King of the Dudes? Is there a good picture here? Evander Berry. Like this is the best picture I can find of the King of the Dudes. Or this. Then there's this one which looks like it's supposed to be good, but you can't make out any details. Sorry. The painting. Evander Berry Wall. I guess that's him there. You get the idea, I think. That kind of fellow. Just means something. You can use GIMP, it just means something else. Yeah, no, GIMP is quite ableist, actually. We were talking about ableism earlier. We were talking about the use of words like crazy, insane, you know, like if you're referring to like,
welcome
this
to
thing blows my mind, that's insane, you know, that itself becomes ableist. Welcome to the Rogue Room, Macro Master 2015. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us. Long live the King of the Dudes. Do we stand Evander Berry Wall, or was he an asshole? Hang on. New York City socialite and American expatriate in France. Famous for extravagantly refined look and crowned King of the Dudes in the 1880s. He was an American. So what have I missed? Hang on. The term GIMP has to change a lot, as does the term slut. Yeah, we talked about that. So who was an American? George Brian Bowe Brummel. was an iconic figure in Regency England and for many years the arbiter of men's fashion. At one time he was a close friend of the Prince Regent, the future King George IV, but after the two quarrelled and Brummel got into debt, he had to take refuge in France. He eventually died shabby and insane in Cayenne. Brummel was remembered afterwards as the preeminent example of a dandy, and the whole literature was founded upon his manner and witty sayings, which has persisted. His name is still associated with style and good looks, and it has been given to a variety of modern products to suggest their high quality. I see. Interesting. Beau Brummel. Why, that tyrant King George IV. The Fourth. Connor. There you go. How much of etymology is just linguists throwing shit against the wall in against the wall in the hopes that it sticks? You can go to bed. There you go. You can go to bed now. You can go to bed now. I should go to bed. It's 11:54 p.m. I should get some sleep. Well, there we go. We've learned a bit of wordplay tonight. Not wordplay. We've learned a bit of words tonight. What do you think? What do you reckon? Have we had has this been a good one? Has this been interesting? I didn't save any, I didn't save any, like, clips or anything tonight. I didn't save any particular topics, because though we had a list of news stories, we only really talked about the 6 Dr. Seuss books thing, which just went on, and it was largely us reacting to a video of Sam Cedar. Oh yeah, we do have this one. We do have this one. This is the best. This is amazing. Did it actually work? Did you actually do it? Did you do it? Jeffrey Dunham, born April 18, 1962, is an American ventriloquist stand-up comedian and actor who is the antithesis of comedy. We managed to violate Wikipedia live on stream. Can we get some fucking pogs in chat? Oh, amazing. Absolutely amazing. That'll go up on social medias, won't it? Yeah, I'm gonna steal that one and put it on social media. I'm gonna steal my own content and upload it to Twitter or whatever. Let's get some good shit. Connie Linguise. Is that how you pronounce that? Anyway, finally welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit out and join us for a raid. We're probably gonna raid someone. As for whomst, though, I'm not specifically certain. Actually, you know what I haven't done in a while? Let's have a look at my recommended. So if you destroyed my master plan, I don't really plan things, honestly. Who could we? Who's? I don't want to raid Extra Life. Why the fuck is that in my recommended, dude? Why is that in my recommended? Bugger off. Who's live at the moment? Who's playing a video game? Recommended is Vorsh. Vorsh is streaming on YouTube, though. I can't raid Vorsh. Even if I could, do you think he'd notice? Let me think. Carpe Packs is worth the raid? Let's have a look. Oh, I've turned off our music. Hang on. Let me turn our music back on because I turned it off for the clip. Let me see here. What are they doing? It's someone reacting to Vorsh's stream. Why are they reacting to another stream? That's so weird to be... Yeah, we'll raid this person. I have no idea who they are, but... US Democrats are conservative. Austerity is weakness. Neglect is abuse. Capitalism kills. I already like this person. You cannot raid this channel. They don't have raids enabled. We can't raid them. That's fun. So that's not going to happen. Not tonight. Not tonight, folks. Oz. If they have raids turned off, I'm not going to raid them. Pretty much, basically. Who else can we go to? Well, you know what? We haven't raided Grumpy Scotsman in a minute. And Grumpy Scotsman and I have quite a few interactions on the Twitters. So, wait, no comment chick. That name sounds familiar. Do I follow that person? That name sounds familiar. I'm following them. I do not recall when I last went to their channel, but yeah. Anyway, we're gonna raid that Grumpy Scotsman for right now. I'm gonna get some sleep. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Stick around for the raid. Here's the socials. I fixed it up so it's got the links now. You can just check me out on all of those links. That saves me a ton of time. I don't have to enter numerous different commands. I was going to say, why do I come up as they, them with the pronouns extension? That's Botwick. I'm hoping tomorrow's stream I'll be less exhausted. I'm sorry, I feel like I've been low energy tonight. Haven't been very big, epic vibes, but thank you everybody for hanging out. You've all been lovely. You've all been fantastic. And we'll be live tomorrow with hopefully a more structured stream. Yeah. Good job, Botwick. Good job, Wickbot. Good bot job, Wick. Have a good one, everybody. I'll see you when I'm looking at ya.